What's up, everybody? Welcome to GameFace, episode 442 on Sifted Games at sifted.net. Our apologies for a little bit of a late start, but I believe that this show will be worth the wait. Alongside me to make it worth the wait is Matt Keil. A little bit of a kerfuffle here today.
Yeah, were there always polka dots in the background of the opening?
Yeah.
I've never seen those
Really?
before.
There's all kinds of subliminal stuff in there, actually, if you really pay close attention. It's funny how you can watch something 442 times and not pick up on stuff. Our apologies again. We've had problems today. We've had big-time problems today, actually. First of all, we got in here, and this PC that we use to stream and chat with you guys and bring you guys into the show, it had restarted, and we could not get it to boot up. That was the beginning. And then we go to launch the stream, and we do the same thing that we've done for the last 3 weeks, and it worked perfectly to launch our YouTube stream, and it wouldn't work. And so that was two headaches we had. And then the other part about it, Matt, is I found out my car was hit today on the way over here. I saw it. I get out of my car here at your place, and my car had been hit last night. I didn't even realize it. So it's been a banner of a last hour and a half or 2 hours for me. But here we are for GameFace episode 442. Actually, kind of the good news is that it took us a little while to get the show going. At first, our PC wasn't working, so chat wasn't going to work. But because we took a while and delayed it, now chat actually works, and you guys are going to be in the show. So I guess it all worked out in the end. Of course, it was just a big headache on my part, and you guys don't care about that. You just want to watch an awesome podcast about video games. Hope you guys are having a great week. We actually have a pretty good show today. A couple of pretty cool games, and then one smaller one that I think you guys are going to be interested in. Obviously, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, the big game that came out this week, but also there was a huge Ghost of Yotei presentation. We're going to discuss all about that. That game is looking real hot. How has your week been, Matt?
It was okay. Pretty busy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to see Superman?
I did.
What's your thoughts?
I think it's very good.
Yeah? Seems like reviews are mixed.
They're not.
No?
It's 86% critics and 92%.
Wow. Where did I see that then? The reviews were
it's done
mediocre.
Extremely well, reviews and
that's great.
And audience-wise,
that's awesome to hear.
It only made about 220 million globally, which is not. I mean, it's good. But
that sounds pretty good to me.
It's not like, golden age of superhero movies. Good, it's not like back when
the Avengers.
Like how Batman, and I was like, whoa, Batman vs. Superman made more. Yeah, well, Batman vs. Superman came out in an era where Guardians of the Galaxy it made almost $1 billion.
Right.
So
it's a different world.
If it couldn't crack $1 billion with the top 3 superheroes, we had a problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's very good. It's not great, which I think it needed to be. I think it kind of needed to be great. But the cast is great. The characters are great. It's the DC universe on screen for I would say the first time.
Like legitimately.
It is the world of DC Comics, and I know everybody, a bunch of people kind of threw a fit about that shot they put out way back at the beginning of production with him putting his boot on in the apartment while the big squid thing was in the background.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that scene is the scene that made me get, Gunn knows exactly what he's doing because the scene in the apartment nails the Lois and Clark dynamic between them, and the thing in the background, that's just something the Justice guys are fighting.
Oh, really?
Because it's just there, and she's even like what do they need you? He's like, nah, they got it. And so it's just like you see the Green Lantern bat like whacking this thing the whole time, and it's because it's a great example of like the difference between DC and Marvel. Like the Marvel universe is our world, and any kind of superhero or fantastical or magical thing that drops into it is an intrusion. Whereas the DC universe, metahuman stuff has been around for 300 years plus. And that's just life. Like crazy. Like the reason that's happening in the background is because that's Metropolis. Like that's just what living in Metropolis is like. How does everyone evacuate in like 8 hours from a city the size of New York? Because they do it every 3 weeks.
Right.
Everyone knows exactly what they're doing.
Right.
It's all about, and so the fact that it doesn't take place in our world and is a totally different world, like gives you the opportunity to do different things. And Gunn understands that, and I think very few people before him who have worked in that universe outside of the CW shows understood that. So that was good to see. All the characters are great. Lex is great.
What about criticisms? You said it wasn't great. So.
I think the characters are better than the story. Like the story is very dense. It's like picking up a Superman comic series around issue 22.
I see.
Because they didn't want to do an origin story, which is correct. But you're jumping into, you really are literally jumping into the middle of things. Like, it has almost a Star Wars style, like, opening crawl thing
really?
that sets up what's happening in the middle.
Because they're already together as a couple, right?
Yeah, he's been Superman for 3 years.
Yeah, it's
like,
kind of in the thick of it, right?
The opening thing is like 300 years ago this happened, you know, like three decades ago this happened, 3 years ago this happened, 3 months ago this happened.
I see.
3 weeks ago this happened, 3 days ago this happened, 3 hours ago this happened, 3 minutes ago this happened, and then it starts the movie. It's very... It works.
Yeah.
And you know, it sets the universe up well. I think the problem is that, like, it's just very, there's a lot of characters and a lot of stuff happening, and sometimes it moves way too fast, and then it slows down way too much. And there's bits where I'm like, oh, this is really good, and then it just sort of doesn't come. Like, you've seen in the trailer, like, there's the scene where she interviews him.
Yeah.
And I love that scene. I think that's the actors are doing a great job. Like, there's chemistry between the whole cast. The whole cast, really, the Daily Planet crew works together really well. They work really well with Lex. Superman works really well with everybody. Mr. Terrific is great. It's nice to see that actor get his time as a superhero after he gets screwed over in X-Men First Class. Because if you remember, he was Darwin.
Yeah.
Who says he's like basically invincible and evolves to any threat, and then someone like shoots a laser grenade down his throat, and he just falls over dead. And you're like, what? He's in one scene. Like,
yeah.
come on. So that's a really great scene. But like, basically, it's just there's a lot. It's a lot, and there were moments where I'm just like, yeah, get on with it. Like, like not stuff with but again, it wasn't stuff with the characters. It was plot stuff. It was like, all right, I see the big magic dimensional thing is tearing open and we need to fix it. You can stop showing me that now. Let's get on with it. It's, you know, the movie's long enough.
Stuff like that.
So yeah, but overall very good. Someone did ask me the other day, like, do I think it's better than the Christopher Reeve one, the 78 one? And I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, I think it is. I think it is. And someone else was like, oh my God, that's a statement. And I was like,
is it?
I was like, is there a scene in the new one where Margot Kidder sings one of the worst poems ever written?
Yeah.
During a scene that's so cringe, I want to turn myself inside out just so I don't have to watch it anymore? The answer is no. So I'm going to give the edge to the new one. I'm sorry. Superman 2, maybe, but again, like, because Superman 2, all that stuff is Silver Age stuff, it's just not really my wheelhouse. I mean, I love those movies for what they did, sort of like how I love Halloween for what it did, but it's okay. We can say they've been surpassed. Christopher Reeve is phenomenal.
Yeah, great dude.
But like, Otisburg, like, we don't need to do that anymore. Like, we've moved past it. And remember, that movie is 47 years old.
Yeah.
Superman, the character, was only 40 years old when they made that movie. The movie's old. It's fine. We can move past it. There haven't actually... But again, it is the first good Superman movie since 1980.
Yeah. I saw all the memes that were like, no, Superman's not woke. You just became a crappy person.
Yeah, pretty much. There's nothing he's doing in this movie that is different from anything Superman has ever done.
It's the people that watching it that have changed.
And you've got the nerve to say that he's an immigrant. Like, yeah, he's very, very literally an illegal alien. Like, what? That's basic part of the you know.
I feel like I just need to unplug from the internet at this point, Matt. I just can't take the stupidity anymore.
They'd hate the original run, the original 1938 Action Comics run, even worse, because all he does is beat the shit out of predatory bankers doing horrible loans to people. In the 5th issue of Action Comics in 1939, he beats this shit out of a bunch of building developers, like real estate developers, and builds affordable housing himself at super speed so that people have somewhere to live, and they don't get any money for it. And then another issue in that first original run, there's a bunch of miners.
He's been altruistic the entire time. Yeah.
Who won't they won't. The conditions in the mine are terrible, so he grabs all the people who own the mine, locks them in the mine, and says, "I'm not letting you out until you agree to help the workers, or the poison gas in the mine kills you."
I didn't know about that one.
The original Batman and Superman comics, like, they kill people. Like Batman at one point just accidentally hangs a man with a rope that he's hanging from his bat plane, and he goes, whoop, I guess he died. Well, he's better off that way. And it's just like, okay, well.
I don't know if you guys went to see Superman or not. It does seem like it did pretty well. They're like well enough to rationalize a sequel and all that.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't actually cost as much as people were lying it did. It made almost its budget back. It's going to double that fine. It'll probably top out around 600, 700 million, which is not a runaway hit, but it's good enough to start a universe with. That's more or less what Iron Man got.
Right.
So
off we go.
So off we go. And next up is Supergirl, and then for some reason Clayface is getting a movie, which originally was part of the Pattinson Batman verse, the Bat verse, and I guess is now DC. I'm like, I don't.
They need to call the consulting agency.
I don't want to be like a stick in the mud on it. Clayface, get it? But it's like, if you're going to show me a Batman solo thing, and this applies to the Penguin too, despite its 18 fucking Emmy nominations, which is ridiculous. But like, if you're going to show me a Batman solo villain thing, and I know for certain Batman and his people are not showing up in this movie because they haven't even cast them yet because they don't know what to do with Batman until Matt Reeves is done with his Batman movies.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about Clayface is one of the least interesting villains in all of Batman.
I hardly even remember him.
Well, because there have been 6 of them.
Right.
And they're just clay people that they can turn into it's a shapeshifter. Who cares?
There's just so much money wasted.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, eventually they'll get there. I mean, this is a really good foundation. The take on Supergirl is going to be interesting because she remembers Krypton. Like they're going very post-crisis with it. Like the origin here is very post-crisis, minus the John Byrne xenophobia that. I don't know if you know this, but in the big reboot in '86 after the post-crisis thing, one of the things he introduced was the Kryptonian birthing matrix, which changed the origin. So instead of being a baby that they put in a rocket ship and sent to Earth, he was basically created like Kryptonians are too advanced to have sex, so they just fuse their DNA and make an embryo, and they put the embryo in the birthing matrix and sent it to Earth. So he gestated in the birthing matrix on the way to Earth, and when he landed in Kansas and the Kents found him, the ship birthed him. So he was born in Kansas, so he's an American citizen.
Not anymore, though. You're born in America, you're not a citizen anymore.
That wouldn't work now. But in 1986, apparently John Byrne really cared about that. And also partly based the billionaire Lex Luthor change because he was just a super criminal.
Right.
That is before that, but now he became a billionaire.
Now he's Elon Musk.
Pretty much, yeah. But he was based on Donald Trump. Like the original pitch was in '86 was like, oh, he could be like Donald Trump, like a big mogul kind of guy.
Interesting.
I'm pretty sure John Byrne voted for him 3 times, so I guess that didn't stick. But so there's a lot of history there. A lot of this is going back 30, 40 years. Nothing got wokeified for the modern day. That's just who Superman is. His whole thing is just be nice to each other, which apparently is a revolutionary statement, which actually is a theme. The idea of seeing the beauty in everyone is a rebellious act is actually a theme in the movie. So Gunn knows what he's doing. I'll tell you, the whole thing feels distressingly relevant, like all of what's happening in the movie, all the way down to Superman stopping an international war and then being blamed for it. So
let's check in with you guys, see if you guys went to check out Superman or not. Andy T. Monahan says it's hard to really gauge this movie's success since for a lot of content providers it's just as important, but in the future audience than making $1 billion that most of these big budget movies have to at least make to break even. That's a long sentence, brother.
Yeah.
Which not every movie does these days, but if Superman doesn't, future projects might be put into question.
I mean, Gunn has already said, like someone asked him directly, like if this doesn't do well enough, what happens to the DCU? And Gunn has said the DCU will continue. I will be gone. Like he's like I will pay the price if this doesn't work.
Mighty Pony Girl says, aren't you even a little bit curious how they'll make Clayface hot? That's funny. Metal Gear Jimmy, thank you for Twitch Prime. We need a duck consulting agency emote. We do. You know what? I'm going to write that down right now, and I'm going to deliver that to you guys. I'll figure it out. I'll make sure that our subscribers have access to that emote.
The thing is that, like, Zaslav, he's been positive about it in a prepared PR statement, obviously, but we already know he can change. That the Warner Brothers leadership can change their mind on a dime if they think it'll help him get sold in the next 6 months. So who knows?
Swan Senpai says Tony Hawk's Pro Skater is also woke according to Twitter.
Because there's a trans skater you can.
Oh my God! What is wrong with people?
Who's a real person, by the way? They just put a real life pro skater in who happens to be trans, and they're like, "Oh, it's what?" I'm like, "Yeah," because they acknowledge this person exists.
Yeah, that's bad. You can't do that. One of the best memes I've seen lately was Here we thought that like people were stupid because they didn't have access to information, and then we gave them the internet and found out that that was not the case at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that lack of information was not the problem.
Yeah. Please tell me it's not an origin story.
No, it's not. He's been Superman for 3 years.
Yeah. Rosencrantz, thank you for subscribing at Tier 1. That's incredible.
Everybody knows him. They all, the inner circle all knows who he is. Lois knows who he is.
Shadowist, what's up, brother?
Also, I appreciate that the movie remembered that in the comics, certain versions of the comics, Jimmy Olsen is inexplicably a sex machine. Like, the girls are, like, drawn to him like crazy, and he doesn't know what to do about it. And that is in this movie, too.
Oh.
That has been a thing in the comics multiple times.
Hey, Ottacilio Neto, thank you for the donation over on YouTube. That's awesome, man. Really appreciate it. That's great. I'll give you a like for that. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Shadowist, thank you for Twitch Prime. One Super Master Gamer, thank you as well. What else we got here? Swan Senpai says Metacritic has it at 68, the film.
Yeah, because Metacritic stuff rates more granularly. So like I'm saying, it's like 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes just marks whether
that seems to be the metric everyone looks at.
Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes is what people look at for movies usually.
Shine plus rain equals Shane. Interesting. Shane makes it happen, rain or shine. Somehow by the seat of our pants, we got everything set up for this show today. It's really insane that we're doing this right now, the way that we are. I can't believe it. Retro Modern Gamer says, did you see this story today from PC Gamer? Yeah, Microsoft, the king developers on Candy Crush, created the AI that took their jobs.
Well, wait till Microsoft learns that without people checking that stuff, AI just spins off the rails.
Yep. Fire Native, thank you for Twitch Prime. Who else we got in here that jumped in? Okay, and this is all just a conversation. I was trying to figure out what the heck was going on. The other thing, too, is our YouTube stream wasn't working at first either. So, YouTube crew, sorry it took a while for the stream to go up today. Also, we did not send out any pre-promotion for today's show. So, I'm guessing our audience is going to be way smaller than normal, but I'm just glad we're able to do it at all, and we're able to incorporate you guys into it. So, I really didn't think that was going to happen at first. So I think that's it for housekeeping. There's really kind of a slow week as far as that stuff's concerned. There's no real big events coming up or big presentations coming up over the next week or so. I feel like we finally got out of not E3. There's no directs. There's no state of plays. There's no nothing. No big presentations. No Japanese publisher doing something. We're just kind of back into the groove. Obviously, next week we'll be reviewing Donkey Kong Bonanza for Switch 2. I'm actually surprised that the reviews for that aren't out yet.
When is there?
Comes out on Thursday, I think, or Friday.
What is the 18th? Is it
17th?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's coming out soon, and there's no reviews from the major press out yet, which is very strange.
I already saw that one of the developers apologizing for the frame drops.
Yeah, he said it's a frame drop, but then in a later thing they said that they put it on Switch 2 to make sure they could peg it at 60. I don't know. We'll see when we play it, I guess.
I imagine if you put enough particles on the screen, it'll chug somehow. But
probably
because it's doing a lot.
Yeah,
but...
I mean the other thing too is it was a Switch 1 game. It came out this week, and they moved it over to Switch 2 beginning in 2021. So it took them 4 years just to move the game over. Anyway, they've spent like 7 or 8 years on that game. So we'll see if it pays off. But I'm excited to play it. Probably
not.
Well, not for you, but I think it might for me. I'm very, very excited about it. But anyway, that'll be a next week's show.
So and also, copyright was put through for a Donkey Kong movie.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in our lightning round. But anyway, I think we're ready to get on with the show proper. We're going to start out with Ghost of Yotei. I said that there are no big directs or state of plays this week, but there was a gigantic one last week, and that was for Ghost of Yotei, which is PlayStation 5's other huge and only, really, first-party PlayStation 5 exclusive for 2025. They gave it its own spotlight, about 30 minutes of brand new updates and information. Really, the first raw gameplay that we got to see. All the trailers so far have been very cryptic. But this wasn't. This pretty much... I'll be honest with you, Matt. I don't know if I need to know anything more about the game after watching this. It was that thorough.
Not. I mean, it's I feel like we have a handle on it already from the first one, and all you need to do is tell me what's new. They did.
There's a lot that's new and a lot that's changed. We're going to reiterate some of the information you may know already, but a lot of people don't know any information about this game because we covered it a few months ago based upon a preview that Famitsu did in Japan. No other outlets covered it. But we did, and Famitsu did include a lot of stuff that was in this in its preview a couple months ago. But no one else covered it, and we did. So if you watch that episode of GameFace, some of the stuff we're going to say may be a duplicate, but it all matters as far as setting up the context of all the new information that we got from this state of play. It is set in the Ezo period. That is modern day Hokkaido. It's set in 1603, and that's 329 years after the events of Ghost of Tsushima. The game follows Atsu. She's a wandering ronin who's seeking revenge against a group of evil baddies called the Yotei 6, who murdered her family 16 years prior. So they kill her family when she's a little girl. She goes away and comes back 16 years later ready to wreak her revenge. And that's sort of the whole setup of the plot. You are going to kill or trying to kill the people who basically massacred your family. And here's one of the really cool things that they showed for the first time here is this. So you can basically go back in time at the push of a button back to when she was a child. And Matt, the one thing I wasn't sure about is how that works. Like, they just mention it. They're like, and you can press the button and go back to our childhood. And that's like all they say.
I'm going to guess it's in very specific locations.
That's what I think too. I think there's like areas that you go into and they let you know.
I think there's probably a button prompt of like you walk through a portal sort of looking thing.
I don't think the whole game is like that, right? Where you can just jump back in time to when she was a kid.
Why would you even do that? Like,
yeah.
What would be the point? Like, I'm sure it'll be a narrative device they use.
Yeah, it feels a little bit like a novelty, maybe.
In specifically, it's just a. I mean, basically, it's just a way of doing flashbacks without any load time.
Yeah, here you can see how it works. It's just in real time. It just morphs from her current day to back as a child. And they said the reason that they're doing this, to your point, Matt, is about narrative. They want you to understand why she's so filled with rage. And they said you need to go back and experience the good times with her family to understand how them being murdered.
The only other thing I can think is that maybe you can do it anywhere, and like you won't actually be able to really do anything as a kid, but it'll show you what it looked like before they ruined everything, like burned out buildings or burned forests or whatever.
Yeah,
maybe that. So there's like almost like a dark world and a light world sort of thing.
Yeah,
but I can't imagine there's a whole lot to do.
I wouldn't imagine
in the young version of her. I mean, I wonder what happens if you try it on a horse.
Yeah,
it's like
seriously. I mean, they weren't very clear at all about like how it works or how it's going to be applied.
I mean, I would assume it's either almost like a detective mode switch, or like it's only done in locations where there's something of value to see and learn.
I think it's going to be like context sensitive. Yeah. Like you get to a village or something like, hey, something happened here when you were a child. If you'd like to flash back and see it, hit the button. That'd be my guess.
Yeah, I mean, they're very low UI, these games, because they don't like to put them, I would imagine, like, you'll see some cue that lets you know it's worth doing here.
Yeah, I like that they don't clutter the screen with nonsense, actually. That's something that I really appreciate about their games. So anyway, you can jump back in time and check out memories that she has with her family before they were murdered. And then really the whole plot is just hunting down the Yotei 6. And throughout the course of the game, after you fell people, you can interrogate them. And they will give you clues. You can see that right here. You can choose the topics. They will give you clues that will send you off in different directions. They can send you towards one of the Yotei 6 that you're looking for. Probably the overarching theme that I feel like they wanted to get through with this presentation is that you can pretty much do whatever the heck you want. You can fight however you want, though they do say some weapons are better against some weapons and some enemies, but you can use whatever weapons you want. They have 3 ways that you can play it. You can play as combat, you can play it as exploration, or you can play it just following the story if you want to. I don't know how, again, they weren't very clear about how that works, if like you can legitimately just play through the story and not engage in combat. I don't know. But that was the thing that they really seemed to want to get put forward with this, is that you can play the game however you want to. They said that they recommend that people just be lazy, and you have this little telescope called a spyglass that you can use, and they said just use your spyglass, find something that looks interesting, and just ride towards it. That's how they said they want people to play this game. Which, okay, like that sounds cool to me. So yeah, it is an open world game, and you can choose which order you want to take on the Yotei 6. You don't have to take them on in a specific order, and that's how kind of the interrogations work. Is like you can interrogate somebody, and they can send you off in a direction towards one of them, or you can say, no, I don't want to do that, and take up a different mission. Because how they work, I guess, is there's like a card system and like the cards represent like the side missions or the missions in the game, and as you talk to people and interrogate them, these cards pop up, and you almost build like this deck of cards over time. It's kind of interesting how they're doing it, but again, that's something that they didn't really explain a whole lot, and probably could have been a little bit more clear on. So maybe I was wrong, Matt. Maybe there is other stuff to learn about this game.
There's some stuff you can wait until you play the game to learn.
Yeah, for sure. And they mentioned let the wind guide you, but they didn't mention anything like specific about if the wind actually does guide you through the game.
Well, that's how the first game worked.
So I'm guessing that's also incorporated here. And then they talk about how while you're riding the horse, if you're riding through fields, and if you stay in the path of flowers, you get turbo boosts. So it's almost like a little turbo path through the open world if you run through the flowers, which I thought was pretty cool.
Horse is allergic to flowers. That's what that means.
What'd you say?
The horse is allergic to flowers. This wants to get out.
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier the card-based clue system, and it's designed to guide players through the world and gather information by interacting with NPCs and interrogating the enemies via the conversation trees. And you saw earlier there in the B-roll, you have choices while you're talking and interrogating, and that will affect what ultimately comes out in the cards. So some of the challenges they talked about besides the main missions, there's something called Bamboo Strike Challenges. Are you familiar with those?
Yeah, that was how you got more bravery or resolve gauge in the first one.
Okay. Those are returning. Hot Springs.
And so you got more life.
Yep, and Bounty Hunter missions are returning as well. This game, more than the first one, does remind me of Assassin's Creed. They show a lot of points in this where you are basically invading an encampment, and you come in, you scan the enemies. She says, "Oh, look, there's the leader," and then she jumps down. She does this cool combo assassination thing. But it does look like you're going to come across these encampments that you need to clear out. I don't think there's any synchronizing or anything like that. Instead, you buy these little patches of maps from this vendor, and then those patches go onto the main map and kind of fill in the detail on the main map, which is kind of an interesting way to do it versus the way that Assassin's Creed does it.
When you don't have the Animus as your crutch,
right?
For the UI, right. You gotta come up with something a little more analog.
Yeah, you gotta figure something else out. We saw earlier the Altars of Reflection. We showed it in the B-roll. And that's where you go to unlock new abilities like a perfect parry or the ability to disarm with counters. And there's, in this footage, and there may be more, but what they showed of the skill trees, there were attacks, assassination, and survival trees shown. So only 3. There could be more, but that's all they showed in this footage. And believe me, I watched this footage frame by frame to try to find everything I could. So the map stuff that I was talking about earlier is called the Traveler's Map. And again, they're those little pieces of the map that you plop down into the bigger map to fill in the detail on the map. And then another big part of this game is resting under the stars. And basically it's just a camp that you go to, like a lot of open world games. But one of the cool things about it, Matt, is while you're at your camp, you can do all the usual stuff. You can play her, what's it called? The shamane or the, I forgot the name of it. You can play her little guitar. Shamisen. You can level up and do that kind of stuff, but also people come and visit you at your camps. And so, say there's some mission objective that they want you to tackle, or they want to at least put it on your plate. People will show up at the campfire and be like, "Hey, there's this thing going on over here. We need you. You need to go over here and look at it." Or they'll bring you new weapons or new abilities and things like that. So their line that they used, which I really liked, was, "The game comes to you. You don't need to go to the game." Like, you're going to know what's going on no matter how you play the game. So if you decide to just go the story route and refrain from combat or whatever, at those campsites under the stars, they will make sure that you know what's going on outside of the way that you've chosen to play the game, which I think is really cool as well. At least you're aware of it. If you don't want to act on it, that's cool, but at least you know what's going on. And it kind of puts more opportunities on the table for you as far as what you want to do.
It's good to see somebody recognizing that we got to come up with new ways to, like, prompt you to do things in open world games.
I agree, because that does feel like one thing that's become stale for sure. I mean, let's be honest, like the campfire, the bonfire, that's all become pretty rote at this point.
When I've become, even in Assassin's Creed Shadows, there were times when I was like, man, like, okay, I did what I went to go do. Now I got to go find something else to do. Everything looks really far away.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to do it.
Help a brother out.
And if I fast travel, it's going to move time forward.
Yeah.
And it was just like, having the game kind of come to you and be like, hey, You want to go do that? Like it's
This
not
is over here.
It's nice to not have to be the one who plans everything.
You have to do
time.
all the work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the line that they use, too, that the game comes to you instead of you having to go and find the game. I think that's great. So the UI, as you mentioned, Matt, is almost non-existent. Like, they really cleared the screen of most of the UI. And they said that the way that they did design it is that it's like a character-driven way of managing an allies and vendors. So there's this thing called, like, the Wolf Pack that you can hit start or hit the... I don't know, on PlayStation, you're probably going to hit the pad or whatever, the touchpad. And it brings up your pause menu. And there's this screen full of characters. And this is kind of how they keep you abreast of what's going on. It's this 2D image of the characters. It will show you, hey, this guy has a mission. This person just wants to talk. And you can scroll side to side and just choose all the characters that you've met throughout the course of the game and decide whether you want to just talk with them, whether you want to accept the missions that they have available for you. Again, another way to kind of keep things organized and put all in one screen. So to your point, Matt, you're not like, dang, what do I need to do? So here's a campfire, as we were talking about earlier. And here's a guy showing up to help her, to tell her, hey, I've got this new weapon. Hey, I've got this new ability that I'll give you. Hey, I have these skill points. Hey, there's this thing going on over on this other part of the map you might want to check out. You can cook food. You can play the shamisen. It's just kind of a reset place. And they didn't say this, but I'm also guessing you probably recover your health or whatever. Also, I didn't know horses laid down when they slept. I thought they stood up when they slept.
No, horses lay down.
Interesting. I thought, and here...
Giraffes are the ones that can't lay down.
Here's the wolf pack I was talking about. So you can just scroll through this list of characters, and you can see if they have the little dots, that means that they want to talk to you, or they have an objective for you to complete. Again, another way that the game comes to you instead of having to go out and look for the game. They
really have some of the best artists in the AAA game over at Sucker Punch.
They really do. I agree. They make something historical very interesting visually, which isn't easy to do at all. So I did find a very quick shot of the pause screen, and I paused it, and I went and grabbed all the information that I could out of it. And these are the tabs that they showed. There's a tab for growth. There's a tab for the wolf pack, which we just showed, which is basically your journal. There's a tab for the map. There's a tab for gear. And what gear basically was these charms that you can craft. Like this extensive, right here, perfect timing. This is it right here. It's just a big list of charms that you can attach to your items and things like that. And then the final tab is inventory. And then you can also customize Atsu with sword decals, the charms I just mentioned, her armor, you can paint everything. And you can make her look however you want, even though maybe you're playing it through on the story setting, or you're basically just playing without the combat or whatever. That doesn't matter. You can still customize your character to make her look however you want, regardless of how you're actually playing the game. Just another way that the game gives you a lot of freedom. They talked about weapons. So weapons in this, to me, are the big difference. Like, you can just be all willy-nilly and jump around and use whatever frickin' weapon you want to, which I think is pretty cool. Of course, there's a katana, there's a spear, there's a Kasuragami chain blade, there's the Odachi, there's dual swords. Each weapon has its own upgrade path that changes how each weapon works, which is great. You can use whichever one you want, whenever you want, but each one does work better against specific enemies. Like, for example, the long sword works better against big foes. Dual swords works better against spear enemies. So that stuff matters, but they made a point to say that, like, yeah, dual swords work great against the spears, but you can still beat a spear enemy using any other weapon in the game. You just have to be a little bit better with it, which I think is probably a good idea. Another thing that they kept mentioning, Matt, was lethal precision. That seems to be like the catchphrase for the combat in this game. They said that you can't really screw up. Like, if you do, you're going to pay for it. They had a phrase that they used for that as well. I can't remember. But they said basically you have to make sure every movement matters. Because if you make one mistake, it could spell your doom. Because enemies dole out a lot of damage. Which is kind of in line with the first game as well. Also, there's kind of a color-coded thing in the combat. There's like yellow and purple indicators. The yellow gold indicators means that they're going to try to disarm you. And if they do that and you don't time it perfectly, they will knock your weapon away. And this was one thing that looked a little weird. So the weapon disappeared, and then another weapon just appears in her hands. Like
her other equipped thing.
Yeah, like she doesn't pull it from anywhere. It just appears into her hands. That I thought was a little weird. But yeah, it's cool. They can disarm you immediately. Your next weapon comes into play, but you can also disarm them. So when they go to disarm you with that gold indicator, if you time your attack right, you can disarm them and then finish them off. So that is high stakes sort of opening salvos in a lot of the skirmishes that you're going to have in this game. And then later on, they show enemies that have a purple indicator, but I never figured out what that was, and they never talked about it. I just saw it in the footage. It was like, hey, there's a purple indicator, but I'm not 100% sure what that actually does. One thing they also mentioned a ton is that she's not a samurai and she's not a ninja. So she does not adhere to the code of honor when fighting. That she is down dirty and she'll do anything she can to win a fight. So you don't have to worry about being noble or doing things with honor. Literally, anything you can do to kill enemies in this game is fair game. And
you can already see her tripping people in this fight, which samurai would not do.
Yep, absolutely. Watching the combat in this, it does make me a little nervous, Matt, because I did see some of the Assassin's Creed, like, I'm going to stand and watch you fight my buddy, and then after you kill him, then I'll try to attack you. Mm-hmm. So there's a little bit of the standing around from enemies in this, but then I watched, like, clips that showed that, and then I watched another clip where somebody did attack, so...
It happened, like... Also remember that if you're fighting in a group with bladed weapons, you don't all want to come in
because you'll hack each other. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's not wrong.
Yeah,
really. It's just exaggerated in movies. Mm-hmm. I mean, if it's fist fighting, then yeah, you're probably all going to just jump in on somebody. But like, if you're all swinging swords and spears, yeah, you want to pretty much let the guy with the big naginata like clear out before you try to get in.
With Assassin's Creed, with the counter kills, it was just egregious.
Yeah,
they'd stand around for like 10 minutes waiting to die. It's just
the combat looks very, very much like the first game.
Yeah,
like they if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Adding a new type of specific special hit you got to watch out for is probably you got to watch out for the unblockables and the disarms.
Yep.
And the ranged and
that's probably what that purple was. It's probably just means it's unblockable.
The red is unblockable.
Oh, so we don't know what purple is yet then.
Well, I didn't see purple.
Yeah, there's in the footage you'll see like towards the end there's dudes that come to attack and they're on their hand there's like a purple like glow or whatever. So we'll see what that means. As I mentioned earlier, you can chain assassinations with the triangle button. So you jump down off a building, assassinate the first person, and then if there are other enemies standing 4, 5, 6 feet away, just tap triangle, and she'll automatically transition to all those other enemies and assassinate all of them, which I thought was pretty cool.
Jin could do that.
Yeah.
You had to upgrade him, but he could do that.
Yep. So in addition to your melee weapons, you get a bow and you get a gun. They look like they're one-shot kills. It also looks like the reload is really slow because when she uses it in the footage, they just immediately switch to sword. They don't even try to wait for her to reload. They're like, shoot, and then go in and hack. So it looks like it's going to take a while to reload your gun or your bow. And then you also have kunai, bombs, and blinding powder. And that's all the stuff that they mentioned as far as weapons are concerned in this. They didn't talk much about the new wolf companion, but they do show one clip where he like tears someone's throat out while you're fighting. So he or she does fight alongside you, but they didn't share anything else about the wolf. But they did also say that there will be other companions as well. I think human and animal maybe, but they didn't specify. But they said there'll be other companions that join you on the journey, and it isn't just the wolf. Let's see. I talked about getting the turbo boost if you're riding on horseback and you're staying in the path of the flowers. You saw already in the B-roll, there's this ability where you can use a slide to descend downhill. You just basically slide down the hill, which is cool, but my guess is that's probably just a context-sensitive thing that you don't do too much. But then you also saw in that clip where she jumps off the hill and then uses the rope almost as like Spider-Man to swing from a tree onto a big boulder. So that looks like it's going to be a big part of the gameplay as well.
Also something Jin could do.
Yep. Here's my big question, Matt. Are duels gone?
Probably not.
No?
I mean, I imagine those are reserved for the very specific care. I mean, most of the duels in the first game I wouldn't want to show in preview stuff.
They're very important.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're generally like the big plot twists. Mm-hmm. Those are the big moments in the story in these games. What about stances? Are they gone?
It looks like maybe, but I think stances are probably replaced by the different weapon types.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Because like I'll be honest, I changed stances barely at all, and I kept the kind of the mid stance and would switch to the others if I needed it for like a big guy or a specific guy. But in general, I just played neutral stance, and it was fine.
I do the same thing too. In any game that gives me stances, I usually find a stance that I like and just stick with it, unless I have to change to the other stance. I don't know if other people play that way, but I do.
Yeah, I just picked the one that looked the most like a standard samurai pose.
Yeah.
Because holding it over your head looks tiring.
Right, yeah.
And like holding it down just looks like you're not ready.
Yeah.
So I just went the other way.
Yep. And then they shared a bunch of extras for the game. So Kurosawa mode is returning, and that's the black and white mode. That's inspired by Akira Kurosawa. And then my favorite is a brand new Miike mode, which is inspired by the famous movie director from Japan, Miike.
Takashi Miike.
Yeah, Takashi Miike.
Who makes terrible, terrible movies.
He mostly does, yeah. But
Versus is one of the worst things I have ever seen.
Versus?
Yeah.
I've never watched that one.
It's terrible. It's just terrible.
A lot of his films are bad, yeah.
Godzilla Final War is also terrible. But
obviously, Audition is the film that everybody points
Right.
to. That was his opus, I would argue.
Am I not thinking of the wrong person there?
He did Audition. That's his big film.
I mean, Audition I liked.
Yeah.
I mean, although, like, everyone goes on about, like, oh my god, it's the most amazing betrayal of an audience. And I watched it, I'm like, okay. like, it's cool what happens, like, the pivot.
Tick, tick, tick.
But, like,
tick, tick, tick.
Yeah, but, like... I don't know. Maybe I'd seen too much Asian horror cinema by that point, and I was. Like,
I mean, his movies generally are shocking. Like,
yeah,
we had a fixer in Japan that would work with us for Tokyo Game Show every year, and he was a part of Miike's crew. So every film that Miike did, he was a part of the crew. And he talked about one film that he made where they were putting fake fetuses in a river and having them float down the river, and then they had people with nets to like catch them. Well, some of them slipped through and went on down the river, and the police showed up and thought that they were dead babies that they were putting in the water. Like, I think that one was called, I can't remember what the name of that film was. That film's insane too, though.
Yeah, I have very little use for Miike.
Yeah.
Like, obviously that doesn't have anything to do with this. It's just it's an extra bloody, gory mode. Which
Yeah,
is
so
cool.
to let you know, it's more mud and more blood, is what they said. And also the camera is tighter, so you can see the action more. They zoom the camera in on the lead character, so you can see the gore and the violence. But I hope I can play that way. It may be zoomed in too much, but I'm going to give it a go. That's for sure. And then they showed off the Watanabe mode, which is like this lo-fi downbeat soundtrack that you play along to, which was very weird.
It's the guy who did the Samurai Champloo.
Yeah.
Which is very much that. It's a lo-fi hip hop samurai anime.
Yeah. I don't know that it fits the game. It seemed very weird.
It's a choice.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like it's a fun idea.
Yeah. I mean, I won't use it, but other people may enjoy it.
Just like I didn't use the Kurosawa mode. I mean, I the second time I played the game, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna play Kurosawa. It lasted about 20 minutes. And I was like, no, this is not as good.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I turned it on, checked it out, and then turned it off.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
Why would you? I mean, it's a cool idea, and it's paying homage to the influence that kind of the game probably doesn't exist the way it exists without it. But like, why would you rob this game of its color? Yeah, like the color is why the game. It's such a strength of it that I didn't want to do that. So I played for a little bit, and also it adds like a tinny audio. Like mask to it because it's supposed to sound like an old school theater,
right?
And I don't.
Nope.
I don't like
no
that.
Thanks. I just want to hear it sound the way it's
like.
It's
cool that you did that, but I'm not going to play a 60-hour game like that.
Yeah,
that's just not going to happen.
Me either.
So.
And they have extensive language options. There's standard English audio, subtitled English audio, Samurai Cinema, which features fully voiced Japanese dialogue with English subtitles, and of course there's a photo mode because this game's gorgeous and it needs one.
I'm not sure what because the second PC playthrough of Tsushima, I started it as Japanese voices with subtitles, and I switched back to English after a while because it just maybe this won't be the same way, but it felt weird that I didn't understand the Japanese people when the story was about foreign invaders. Like
interesting.
Like it felt more right to hear everybody sound like my native language in Japan, and then have the Mongols sound foreign because that's what they because
that makes sense.
An accent and stuff.
No, I get that.
And it just the game is so much about home and where you're from and defending the place you're from and and all that stuff. It felt like it should be played in one's native language, thematically. So like if I was Japanese, I'd probably want to play in Japanese.
Yeah.
But like it for whatever reason it didn't feel right. And normally in things like this, I do want to play in the language that it should be.
Yeah.
But it just didn't work for me for some reason.
It's going to be interesting watching the response to this versus Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Mm-hmm.
Watching this, they are very, very similar games.
I mean, they're about a similar thing.
Yeah.
Sure. This game, the Ghost games seem to be more dynamic, combat wise.
Yeah.
Like maybe the weakest part of Assassin's Creed Shadows is how stiff the combat is after like long enough, and you're like, oh, I know exactly what. I mean, obviously you also know that here, but every once in a while in Tsushima, things would surprise me, even like late in the third playthrough kind of thing. It just had a looser kind of, there were moments where everyone's kind of scrambling to get back on their feet and figure things out, and like that doesn't really happen in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with it. I like Assassin's Creed Shadows a lot, but like, and maybe the cinematic influence on this series like just speaks to me a little more.
Yeah.
Like Shadows is gorgeous. Shadows is gorgeous as a photoreal sort of
this has
recreation
an art
of Japan.
style to it.
This is like very stylized, but it's like some of the best stylization of a real place I think I've ever seen.
Yeah. There's just some shots in this presentation where she looks just like the lead character from Assassin's Creed Shadows when she doesn't have kind of the bolo hat on or whatever. Like if you put them side by side, you could be forgiven for thinking maybe one was a sequel to the other or something like that. But still, I think there are definitely enough differences between the two to set them apart. I just wonder if the casual Joe Blow who buys 3 games a year is going to be able to sort of pull them apart and see the differences. But that's our job, I guess, is to point that out.
Yeah, casual Joe Blows doesn't know we exist.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a problem.
Yeah.
It looks very different. I mean, obviously they're both. I mean, someone who doesn't know anything about anything is just going to be like, oh, another samurai game. Okay, but honestly, Assassin's Creed Shadows is a ninja game.
It is, yeah.
This is not a ninja game.
No, you're right. I do wonder how many people know the difference between those two, though.
Oh, people know.
Some. People like us do, but I don't think a lot of other people sort of do.
Anyone who grew up with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles knows the difference between a ninja and a samurai.
Well, I think most people would just say, it's a kung fu game.
No, they would say it's a samurai game.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
People don't even know what kung fu is anymore. That was a 70s trend.
No, I think that's why they would call it kung fu. Because to them, martial arts is just kung fu.
I haven't heard anyone call a martial arts movie that in forever. They call it a karate movie sometimes.
Karate, that's another one. Kung fu or karate.
Because Karate Kid,
right.
Like you got to go with what's actually happened in the last 30 years.
Yeah.
And that is the Karate Kid reboot.
But my point is that that's how
stuff.
they look at this stuff. Like, they don't really understand how granular it is. They don't understand Asian history.
Well, they do, though, because we're talking about people that grew up watching anime. Like, they know Naruto, and they know, like, those things.
None of my friends grew up watching anime, man.
Your friends are older than the target audience now. We're older than that.
I guess. I mean, kids now watch anime, but most of my friends did not grow up. I was the only one who watched anime growing up, and you were probably the only person that you knew in your school that watched anime when you did.
I knew several people.
Really?
Yeah.
I was the only one.
A lot of them were Japanese, but
yeah.
It was the Bay Area, though. The Bay Area had more
that makes sense.
of an Asian culture shot through it. So.
That makes sense. And then the final thing that they showed in this presentation was 2 brand new PlayStation 5 consoles for Ghost of Yotei. They are also
too late.
Yeah,
I got one already.
Yeah, they're also coming out on the same day as the game on October 2nd. I mean, the crazy part is we don't have much longer to wait for this. Mm-hmm. Like, we're literally
I like the
7 weeks away from...
I like the controller. I like that they're using that, I can't remember the name for that repair style.
Mm-hmm.
Like that same that Admiral Thrawn's troops had in Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool, but I'm not going to... I mean, maybe if I can find that controller's kind of cool.
Will they sell it separately, do you think?
I don't know. Console bundles? Who knows? If I can get the gold controller separately, I would consider that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, and I know like there were people mad that the plates don't work on the PS4 or something. I don't know. There was some complaining about how it's only one version of the PS5.
Oh, interesting.
It's not a Pro or something like that.
Huh.
Which is weird. You think they would be selling a Pro?
Yeah, they also didn't include a bunch of information about these, to be perfectly honest with you. I went and searched around, and there wasn't a lot of information about it. So
yeah, well, because these are just plates.
Mm-hmm.
So
that really is all it is. You're right.
Yeah.
Controllers and plates, and that's pretty much
like
it.
If I can get if it's just it depends on the price, I guess. But if I would maybe get it just for the controller and give the plates away or something. I don't think those plates will fit my Pro, right?
You have to get the plates for your Pro. They make plates for them. They do.
But is that what the different colors are, or the different colors for both?
What do you mean by the colors?
Well, there's a gold one and a black one.
No, those are different plates for sure. Yeah, those are different versions that you'd have to buy.
Right, but are they for both, or is it like the gold ones for the baseline and the black ones for the Pro?
I think so. Yeah. I think that's how they differentiate. The gold's for base, and then the other one's for the Pro. Yeah.
Well, maybe if the gold, if I did that, I'd probably just give you the plates.
No, well, I don't even have like the new. Well, actually, will those plates work with the base PS5?
If it's the base PS, it doesn't say Pro. It doesn't say Pro.
You're right.
On it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and it has a disc drive on both of them. So
which is awesome because that's not a given anymore. But that also means it's a base PS5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you add on the disc, which is I did get the disc drive, but it's been sitting in the box in my living room for like 2 months.
You haven't installed it?
No, because I'm just like, I got to take all the plates off.
Yeah, it's kind of a pain.
And then I'm just like, I got the Steelbook for Sinners. I'm gonna watch that. I can't watch Sinners. So I have to put the fucking Blu-ray player back.
So anyway, that's pretty much
physical media.
Yeah. But anyway, that is pretty much all the information that they supplied with this Ghost of Yotei State of Play. Let's check in with you guys and see what you guys are thinking of it. Matt, has your hype for this game gone up or down after this?
It's about the same.
Me too.
I'm excited about it. I love the first one, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I don't play something I don't love 3 times.
Yeah.
I kind of wish it was also coming out on PC at the same time, but like I'm not gonna wait for that.
Yeah.
Even if I wasn't doing this show, I wouldn't wait for that.
It'll look great on your PS5 Pro.
Yeah.
Also, finally, you'll get some real use out of your PS5
Well, I
Pro.
mean, Death Stranding 2, like
that's pushing it a little bit.
I mean, I felt like I was getting some pro action out of
value.
Out of Death Stranding 2, but no, I'm super in, even if I was completely out of the business. It's I love Sucker Punch. I've never disliked anything Sucker Punch has ever made.
Me either.
So
yeah, I will say my hype for this game is not sky high, and it is because I just played Assassin's Creed Shadows for like 60 or 70 hours, and it does feel a little bit similar.
I just don't associate them in my mind at all.
Yeah,
like they are completely different gameplay experiences to me.
I mean, they do play differently.
They're both open worlds, but like. And I switch between that and Tsushima sometimes, and like, man, playing Tsushima was like coming up for air sometimes after playing Shadows for a long. Because Shadows is just it's much a more rigid game. I don't know another way to put that. And once you get to Tsushima, I switch over to Tsushima, and I'm like, it's just more arcadey. It's more open. It's more like. It's almost messier, and like, but it's a good messier.
Yeah,
like, I don't know what really other way to put it. And like, sometimes it's like the swinging is not very reliable at times. But like,
I have a feeling they'll probably improve that.
Probably that would be one of the main things. That would be the jumping and the swinging would be two of my. If I was starting a second game in that series, I'd be like, okay, we're
fixing this.
Let's Joe, you're on the rope. You do the rope until the rope works right.
Well, let's check in with you guys, see what y'all are saying about it. Cinetype says it's a must-play for me, but I'll have to wait for the PC version. So you're going to be waiting a while, brother.
Maybe like a year. Like Sony's getting faster and faster.
Yeah.
And you didn't even have to wait a year for Helldivers.
That's true.
On PC or on Xbox.
Right. That's true. Things are changing. Swan Senpai actually clarifies. He says, one color is an exclusive for the PlayStation Store. The other is the regular retail version.
Okay.
But they were different sizes. The consoles were two different sizes.
Not. They're the same thing.
They're
the same console.
Wait, I'm going to go back to that.
I assume the gold one is the PS Store exclusive, you jerks. Do you see the 30th anniversary things coming back into stock in the UK? The systems?
One isn't smaller?
No,
is that just perspective?
Yeah, those are exactly the same.
Interesting. That one on the right looks smaller to me.
No.
Okay.
Those are the same thing.
All right. Let's go back to chat. Let's see.
Oh, gold is retail? Good.
Gold is retail from what I read.
I like that better.
Okay. Millipinter, they're probably placed, but no old fat console. Swan Senpai says the PS5 30th anniversary is also getting re-released. I thought that was just the controllers.
I just said that. No, they're all. It's the system and stuff are coming back into stock, but it's only in the UK from what I read.
Oh, because we curated a story today that said only controllers. Interesting.
When I read it a while ago, but it was a couple days ago.
That sucks for people that went and out on a limb and went through the hassle of trying to get that console. Like I tried to.
It's just leftovers. They'll be gone in 5 seconds. Like it's not like they're coming back as a full restock. It's
why didn't they sell them all back then when I was trying to get one?
They probably got lost in a warehouse somewhere.
Wow,
it happens
because they were numbered, right?
Yeah, but they don't count them all just when they ship them out.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, will these
weird shit
new
happens,
ones
man.
be numbered
still? A few. You remember like a couple years ago when someone found a sealed case of Majora's Mask? Mm-hmm. It had been sitting in a warehouse since 1999 or whatever, and like no one ever opened it out of the distribution center. And here's just like 4 N64 games that have never seen the light of day.
Mm-hmm.
Like shit like that happens.
Yeah. Mighty Pony Girl says, in my day it was called Japanimation and it was all hentai. It was called Japanimation when I first started watching it.
Well, that was a term that went around. But the big like eye-opening thing I remember was when that stupid like you remember back when we used to advertise things on TV that you called an 800 number for and you got a subscription to something you didn't want and didn't know how to cancel for the next day. It was that thing where it was they led with Akira, and it was like, this is the exciting world of Japanese anime, and like subscribe now for Akira, and like you got Akira, and then they send you like a new thing every month or something.
Yeah.
But that was the first time anyone people at my school were like, it's like, that's that stuff you watch, right? I'm like, yeah, that's what it is. Like, that Akira thing looked pretty cool. I'm like, yeah, it's
really cool. Yeah.
You should go rent it.
Yeah, like on Liquid Television, which I feel like is where a lot of people saw anime for the first time. They called it Japanimation. Yeah, I think that's probably where the term got picked up and carried on for a while.
There wasn't a lot of anime. I don't remember any anime in Liquid Television.
Yeah, it was. Vampire Hunter D was in there.
Was Vampire Hunter in there?
Yeah. It was like serialized, so they'd show like 10 minutes of it, then show the next 10 minutes the next week. It was weird how they split it up.
I remember that. The main thing I remember from Liquid Television is Aeon Flux.
Mm-hmm. That was good, too.
Which was Korean. I mean, it was American, but it was by a Korean guy.
Yeah.
That one and the one with the guy with a giant head.
I vaguely remember that.
It's called The Head. And you just
I had a friend that worked on Liquid Television in San Francisco.
And Winter Steel.
I don't remember that
one. They were like Muppet puppets, but she was like a biker chick who was like riding across the country to like find her ex-boyfriend who like jilted her or something.
Remember The Young Ones, that British comedy show about punk rockers?
I remember that.
Vivian.
I had one of my friends was from England, and for her birthday last year, she wanted to watch some episodes of The Young Ones with the whole group, and they only made it through one episode. It has not aged tremendously well.
Next to Twa says Kung Fu is no weapons. Okay, thanks for that clarification. Khalib Tulai says, I mean, if you want to play a game for fun without story, it's nice to have the shampoo mode. Eric Cartman, I prefer movies where Godzilla is the antagonist.
Yeah, well, which he is in Final. He was saying he likes Final Wars, and that's probably why, because Godzilla is the bad guy in Final Wars.
Yeah,
there are some good. I don't like Final Wars. I think it's just goofy as hell and weird in a way that's too self-serious to be Godzilla.
Yeah.
But I do think like Godzilla, Tokyo SOS is one from the 2000s where Godzilla is the bad guy, and King Ghidorah is the good guy of all things. That one's really good. I like that one a lot.
Threadzilla says, does Ghost go to a different setting after this? A la Assassin's Creed, I'd love a World War I era Assassins or Ghosts.
I think you get in some really risky territory in the 20th century with that kind of thing.
Yeah, but, you have to be real careful.
My guess is that after this, they might go back to Jin.
I think so, yeah.
There's also a bunch of different eras of Japanese history you could go to that do not involve, war crimes in living memory. There's some other stuff you could do in the history of things that would be interesting.
Noxatonitis says, I would love to move beyond the color-coded enemy attacks for my fellow colorblind people. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I did notice that the gold attack, I didn't know what that was originally but I did notice that it's a different shape than because the red thing is a tiny little starburst on the weapon, and the gold thing is more of a clover shape. So I think the idea is that you'll be able to tell because it's bigger. It's much bigger than the red glowing thing for the unlockable. So I think the idea is that you'll be able to tell by the shape and size that it's a different kind of attack, and not if you can't see the color. But yeah, it's and again, they might have solutions for that. Again, Sony's accessibility options have just been getting better and better.
They're great. They're leaders in that space.
I know in the chat after that, some of them were saying like that they still haven't solved that part very well. But we'll see. My brother-in-law also will have a problem with that.
Vincent clarifies the controller is only coming back in the U.S. Other things are coming back
Okay.
in other territories. No.
I did. What was the thing I read? Well, I can't. It was something. Actually, I think it was John Byrne. That John Byrne is colorblind, and he was drawing a comic book character for like 3 issues before he realized that her outfit was green and not brown. He's green-brown colorblind, and I'm like, that's. I mean, he's like, it didn't really matter because he wasn't. I don't think he was coloring it, but like, it was like, what a different way to see things.
Veritas over on YouTube says Kung Fu absolutely uses weapons.
I think that depends on your definition. I've seen some people say Kung Fu is like the entire Chinese martial arts tradition. Some people will only call weapon stuff wushu, but that's also a very specific type of weapons training. So I don't know. Like, I don't know enough about Chinese martial arts to know what's what in that. But all I know is I grew up watching Shaw Brothers stuff on Channel 36 at night. And I don't know the titles of any of the movies I like because I caught them all in the middle of them. And I have all the Shawscope Blu-ray collections, and I'm just like, I want to watch the movies I remembered as a kid. I have no idea which ones they are. I guess I'm just gonna have to watch them all. So
yeah. Mark Montana says, if there was ever a game ostensibly made for me, it's Ghost of Yotei. Can't wait. And then people were talking about 13 Assassins, which I think was a Miike's film that actually got him this gig. Which is like this hyper-violent samurai film that he made. I mean, that's his MO. That's what he does.
I mean, somebody's got to.
Yeah.
Someone's got to slice those nipples off.
Yeah, they're not going to slice themselves off, Matt. Okay, so there you go. That's our preview for Ghost of Yotei. My guess is we'll probably just get a deluge of stuff from this game going forward now. Trailers anyway. I don't think we'll get another state of play, but I think we'll get trailers that show off maybe just the wolf, stuff like that to get a lot more specific. But as far as like getting the lay of the land, understanding how the game's going to play, understanding the gameplay loop, that type of stuff, I think this preview has kind of provided that for us. And I think probably everybody's a little more excited for this game. I would argue that I am, but not as much as maybe I thought I would be. It kind of has just turned out to be what I thought it was going to be, I guess. Not a lot of surprises, other than kind of the being able to flip back to the past, which we still don't know how that actually works. So maybe once I learn more about that, I'll start getting a little bit more excited. But don't forget, again, it's coming October 2nd alongside those new PS5 plates and controllers. All right, it's time to move on and talk about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. But before we do that, here's a word from our sponsor, the one, the only, LS Cream. LS Cream is a fine cream liqueur created by fellow gamer and sifter Stevens Charles. It's inspired by an ancestral recipe from Haiti called Cray Mass, and a double gold winner for its original taste at the New York Wine and Spirit International Competition. LS Cream can be enjoyed on the rocks or as a mixer for drinks with its rich blend of fresh cream and neutral grain spirits with notes of coconut, vanilla, cinnamon, and nutmeg. It's great in coffee or to make espresso martinis. To learn more, discover amazing drink recipes, or to track down your own bottle using a handy store locator, head to creamls.com/sifted. That's creamls.com/sifted. That's right. Stevens Charles and crew at LS Cream. The liquor is getting its second wind. As I mentioned about a month ago, they were going through this crazy turmoil with distribution. They've got it all sorted out. Stevens Charles is like a jet setter right now. He really has shifted into like another gear, trying to get LS Cream into this second sort of level of its existence. You can be a part of that. Go to creamls.com/sifted. You can figure out how to buy bottles locally there, how to get them sent to your house. Most places at this point do have it, although there are some blind spots. And again, I always recommend that if you cannot find it, in the comments of our show, let us know that you can't find it. Stevens and crew watch GameFace. They're big-time gamers. They listen to GameFace. They will absolutely see your comments if you leave them there. So if you cannot find LS Cream somewhere, leave it in the comments below, whether you're watching this on Sifted or you're watching it on YouTube. Let us know. At the very least, we'll be sure to forward it along to Stevens and crew at LS Cream and make sure they can get it into your area. But again, even if you can't find it locally, you probably can find a way to get it shipped to you. So again, go to creamls.com/sifted. Check out the site. Awesome drink recipes there as well. You won't regret it. Head on over there and get yourself a bottle. Okay, I saw someone in chat go, the Ace of Spades, the Ace of Spades.
Is that even in it?
It is.
Anymore?
It's in the opening cinematic, actually. That's the song. Although I will admit,
I didn't hear it.
I never heard it while I was playing
No.
it. Yeah, that is
I used
bizarre.
to hear it all the time when I was playing. It was points where like, does it play random except like every 5 songs it has to play Ace of Spades?
It felt like it. It felt like it was in the rotation way more than the other songs. But was that Zet Saber that said Ace of Spades? I think it was. So anyway, here we are to talk about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. It is the second sort of remastered compilation for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. The first one was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Just off the top of our discussion here, Matt, are you as excited for 3 and 4 as you were for 1 and 2?
Of course not.
Yeah.
I didn't like 3. 3 is where I checked out of the series.
Oh, right. That's right.
As soon as you put the manuals and all the revert stuff in, it became more about using these like kind of almost cheat moves to link combos forever, and not like level design like enabling the combos.
Yeah.
Like I was out. Like it stopped being the thing I liked after that.
These games' levels are kind of built like roller coasters, basically. And here's the thing. So Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 was made like the first 2 games, meaning you were given 2 minutes to accomplish as many objectives as you can, and then you get another 2 minutes to accomplish as many objectives as you can. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 was different. It was kind of like they put you down on a level and you just skated around the environment and you talked to people. And those people would give you the mission objectives that you needed to complete.
Yeah, it was the beginning of kind of the weird action RPG-ish
version of Tony Hawk. Yeah.
Where everybody just assumed for some reason that we wanted to talk to Bam a lot.
Right.
It's like, no, not really. This is not enhancing my experience. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. And they had to base... That is amazing, by the way. That dude blows my mind.
Wasn't he in the game?
He is in the game.
He is?
Yeah.
You can play him?
Yeah.
I
haven't played him yet, though. I don't know how that works. But that dude is amazing. Like, I've seen YouTube videos of him, and he blows my mind. But anyway, so what they had to figure out was, what are we going to do with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4? Are we going to leave it the same, so you can go out, so it's completely different from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3? Or are we going to make these 2 games the same as each other, and which one do we choose? And so they decided they're going to make the 2 games the same, and they chose to make them both like the first 3 Tony Hawk games. So,
which is probably the correct
It is the correct thing, and now that I've played the game, they did a really good job of it. Like, I really can't tell the difference a little bit, but for the most part, I can't tell the difference between the levels that were built for Tony Hawk 4 and Tony Hawk 3 as far as playing them. So I feel like they did a pretty good job changing Tony Hawk 4 to be like Tony Hawk 3. It didn't offend me, but here's the thing. The more I played this, Matt, the more I realized how much work they did on this, and they did a ton of work, man.
I mean, this is a
probably a remake.
There's a ground up remake.
It kind of is, yeah.
Like I don't know what they're calling it in
they're calling it remasters, but who cares?
This is not a remaster. This is a remake.
They really did rebuild a lot of this game.
Like just the fact that you can use the same skater in both games and it's all like one unified thing.
Yep.
Like even if they hadn't made it different, line 4 with 3 in terms of formatting.
Yeah.
Like that would be enough to make me call it a remake.
Yeah. Don't forget, these games came out in 2001. They're 24. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 is 24 years old.
Yep.
It was one of the first big games at GameSpot when I started working in the industry. And they gave it a perfect 10. And I'll never forget the hand-wringing at GameSpot over giving Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 a perfect 10. But Gerstmann and Ryan Davis loved this franchise. They were all over it. And when 3 came out with the revert manual and it clicked with them, it literally overtook the GameSpot offices for like a month.
That was the opposite for me.
Yeah, it made you check out.
I took it home like GameCube launch night and played it for a bit. And I was like, what did they do?
Yeah.
This isn't the game anymore. And it's more of a skateboarding game than a platformer now.
Yeah.
I mean, I get where they're taking it. It just wasn't for me anymore.
They have done a ton of work at this. Also, one interesting thing before we get into the nuts and bolts of the game, did you see that they found that Iron Galaxy, which is the developer of this, because Neversoft got shut down because they put Neversoft on Guitar Hero when it died, that they took a jab at Guitar Hero in this. There's a trash can in the game that has a copy of Guitar Hero in the trash can. And Iron Galaxy is like, whoa, we have no idea that was in there. We're going to try to figure out who did that, and then we're going to remove it. And fans are like, no, don't remove it. Leave it in there.
It's very on brand.
Yeah, yep.
Neversoft would have done it.
Yeah. Well, one thing that may surprise
Also, like,
you,
it feels like that's more of an Activision criticism than
right?
a Neversoft
No, it definitely
criticism.
is.
Yeah.
Oh, they're definitely taking a shot at Activision there for like putting Neversoft
In the trash.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So anyway, one thing that may surprise you about this, if you played later Tony Hawk games, is that this game has no story. There's none. Like Tony Hawk 3 literally has no context or anything, other than like before you start a level, they show you all your missions. It's like knock the frat boys into the water.
Yeah.
Like
You're skateboarding. That's the story.
pretty much. And then Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 did kind of have a story, but since they've removed all the NPCs out of the world in this, that's all gone too. So it really is just go to this level. Here's 7 or 8, or here's like 7 or 8 objectives to complete. Complete them as fast as you can. Now, here's what I ended up doing, Matt, and it's really silly, honestly, that there's a 2-minute timer in this. After a while, I just changed the timer to an hour. But seriously, it's like, why are you making me do this in 2-minute increments? What's the point of that?
Because that's what the first one did.
Right, I get it.
That's it.
But
That was the game at
that's
the time.
the only reason, though.
Yeah.
It's like, once I found the hour timer, I'm like, why in the heck am I playing this in 2 minutes at a time?
Well, I was pretty impressed by the amount of, like, tweak the game accessibility things they had. Like, you can make the nollie and the grind balance last forever.
Yeah.
You can basically put training wheels. I mean, even Tony Hawk in the tutorial even says, think of it as training wheels while you're learning how to play the game.
Yeah.
Because this game is hard. Because he's like, this game takes a lot of practice, and he's right. Like, I only played probably like 4 levels, like 2 levels of each one, and I was like, yeah, that's enough.
Yeah.
Like, I'm never going to be good enough at this to, like, really get any further, and that's fine by me.
Yeah. Now, this, as I said, this game is from 2001, and it does look way better, obviously, with this remake remaster, but it still doesn't look great.
No, I mean, it's clearly it's meant to run on everything.
Yeah, this is not like a game that was built for PS5 and Xbox Series
but it
X.
doesn't need to be.
It still looks good enough.
And Tony Hawk never was really a looker. Like, they were never cutting edge graphics.
Yeah, they were never the best looking games on the market. That's for sure.
They had to run smooth more than they had to look good.
Yeah,
and they do. And this
one does too.
Yeah,
it runs really well.
A little too well sometimes.
Yeah,
like I'm like, was it always this squirrely? Because I can't even figure out how to look at things.
You can't.
Also, one of the things that kept throwing me, and I don't know what, this is just a minor little like animation thing, but like my skater never pushes.
It just generates speed.
He just goes, and like at no point, like I feel like I remember them pushing on their foot.
Maybe in the first one.
Yeah, at one point I let my skater like ride around the whole area for almost the full 2 minutes, and she never pushed.
Yeah.
Ever. Also, I have a question. I have a skating question.
Sure.
If you go through all the characters, they have the little stats, and they have goofy foot or whatever, and then they have push, and it's never Mongo. And every single character in the game is never Mongo except one, which is Mongo after a kickflip. Why is the stat there if everyone but one guy doesn't do it?
Because they had to represent the one guy.
Really?
Yeah. Because he's known for that. Like, that's his thing. But so I'm sure if it's for authenticity's sake, and I say that with air quotes, that they put that in there. But do you know what Mongo is, right?
Yeah, it's pushing with your front foot.
Yeah.
And you're not supposed to do it.
Yeah, and then there's another form of Mongo where you push with your back foot, but you have your front foot on the back of the board instead of on the front. It's so interesting how certain people, when they learn to skate, like, it just feels natural for them to push that way.
It did for me. That was one of the reasons that was hard. I gave up on
makes
trying
it
to learn.
impossible.
Like, that was naturally how because I would ride. I am generally left-sided on most things, so I was goofy, but I wanted to push with that foot. So.
Yeah, a lot of people are like that way, but in the end, if you really want to get good at skating,
I certainly understand why that doesn't work, but I just could not train my brain to not do it.
When you skate for a long time, you come across a lot of people like you. And you try to tell them, you're like, look, you're only going to get so good pushing like that. Like, you need to break the mental habit of pushing that way. And once someone learns to push that way, they just can't get over it. It's almost like learning how to swim or whatever. So anyway, back on to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. It includes 35 real skaters. There's some fun unlocks, like the Doom guy from Doom. Bam Margera was added late in the game, so you have to pay money to unlock him. He's not just a part of the normal roster. And in some ways, it's funny, like, he ended up getting a bigger spotlight than all the other skaters in the game because they added him late.
Yeah, and because he's an unlockable.
Yeah, it's really he wasn't even going to be in the game up until like a month ago.
Yeah, now I got to earn $3,000 to
$5,000
to see $5,000 to see Bam Margera's face. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Although I will say, I didn't really care, but you might appreciate this. You know who I saw at the Magic Castle on Sunday?
Who?
Johnny Knoxville.
No way.
He was at the bar.
Wow.
With shock of white hair, and I was like, that guy. I noticed his hair, and then we were leaving, and my friend was like, "Do you know who that was?" And I'm like, "No." He's like, "It's Johnny Knoxville." I'm like,
"Really?
Okay." Like
what a jackass.
Do you know how little I care about Jackass? But yeah, that's cool, you know.
Yep.
But so no, I thought like Shane would appreciate seeing Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah. He ended up being an actor for a while, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
He really spread his wings for a while. So anyway, there's 35 real skaters, and the big difference with this is that there are way more female skaters. And that makes sense, because there are way more female skaters now who totally rip.
Yeah, and Alyssa's still in there.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. Like, here's
going.
Aubrey Batoni, who I played as for a while. Like, I played as a lot of people for a while, but she was kind of like the pioneer for female skaters. Now she's been left in the dust. Like, she doesn't even compete anymore because these young girls are just shredding her to bits.
I was playing as, I can't remember her name now, but I think she was from Brazil.
Mm-hmm. She's the new
the
champ.
overalls.
Yep.
Like, yeah, she was. Mostly I just liked her stats.
Oh, she's like a phenom.
Once I put her Ollie stat up, she was a beast.
Oh, she's a phenom. She skates as well as boys her age. It's really crazy what's been happening.
A second, I was like going back and forth between. I'm like, God, your stats are almost as good as Tony's.
No, she's no joke, man. All the female skaters now are really freaking good, man. There's like no difference between guys and girls anymore. Like, guys do still go a little bigger than girls. Like, you still won't see girls doing like 20 stairs and stuff like that yet, but it's coming, man. Like, they're almost there. They're doing 15 stairs. So it's really amazing to see the women really rising up, and that is reflected in this game, and that is awesome. So you can pick the skaters that they give you, or you can create your own. No matter which, you end up getting points. You can see up there that perfect timing. You get points that you can use to boost your skater. I will admit, I didn't see a ton of difference in the stat points when I used them, man.
It wasn't a huge amount. Everybody's viable.
Yeah.
Like, it's just little things that give you. It might make a hard thing easier to do. Like, the one I noticed the most difference on was Ollie. Like, Ollie is such a constant thing in the game that even putting a couple points into Ollie on a couple of the skaters, like, really made stuff easier getting up on things. That was about everyone's speed is fine. As a matter of fact, once I got speed up a little too high, it actually became harder to play.
So here we're showing something that Matt and I mentioned earlier that is just so annoying in this game. Just being able to look at the level to see where you need to go. It's like, where's the K? I have all the other letters. Where's the frickin' K? It's like, if you hold down, sometimes the skater will stop, but if you let up from down, they'll start skating again. I never figured out how to just make them stop every time.
You have to continually hold down.
It's insane.
Like, they will always be in motion unless you're holding down on the controller.
Yeah. And it's just annoying. Like, you end up, here's the thing. I really enjoyed playing this game when I was just going for scores. When I had to do things like collect skate or collect a bunch of stuff that's hidden on the top of a building somewhere or get very, very precise with the controls, it drove me bananas. It's like, if you get in tight areas in this game, it's just like the originals. You start pinballing around off of the walls and stuff. It's like trying, like, sometimes they'll put a wire that runs from one roof to the other, and you have to go up this little dinky ramp to get up on top of the roof, and you pinball back and forth while you're going up the ramp, and then you get to the ramp, and, like, your character freaks out, and you fly off of the top of the building. You have to do it all over again. This game made me angry in a way I haven't been angry at a video game in a really, really long time. Like, I literally, last night, I think my neighbors thought I was maybe killing my wife. I was so mad. Like, she wasn't home yet, and I was just letting it go. I was, like, dropping F-bombs. It was just, again, just scoring the points and the trick points, it's fine. It's great. It's fun to play. But when they start saying, hey, you need to go down this little alleyway, and you need to be going 100 miles an hour, and then jump onto this wire, and then jump over this other wire, and it's crazy. That's when you realize these games are old. And they are of a time. It's like playing a 3D platformer with the worst controls you've ever played with in your entire life. That's how I felt playing a bulk of this game. And the thing is like, no matter how good you are at rolling up big scores, it doesn't matter. You have to complete those other goofy goals or you can't unlock the next park. And so you have to do it. And so after a while, I got sick of trying to figure it out because, like I said, you can't just, like, you should be able to push a button and go into first-person mode and look wherever the hell you want. Seriously.
Swan Senpai says, 2X Neversoft employees and 2 pro skaters are watching this with me. No pressure.
Hey, I skated for 12 years, so anyway.
And don't forget that Neversoft are also the first ones to crack the Spider-Man question.
Right, yeah.
And that's one of the reasons they, like, maybe were so good at skateboarding was because they figured out Spider-Man.
And I still skate.
Spider-Man should have been a character in one of the Tony Hawks if they could ever worked out the licensing.
Yeah.
That would have been a cool addition.
Well, Wolverine was in one of them.
Yeah, we had Wolverine and Darth Maul. And, like, there was some,
Yeah.
I miss Darth Maul. I would like to have seen Darth Maul come back. But.
Yeah, I mean, I still skate every once in a while, but it's just to cruise around and push. I'll do some slappy grinds, ollie up curbs and stuff. But the last time I really seriously tried to skate, I broke my arm. So I'm like, I'm good. I've definitely chilled out over time. As you get older, you don't heal as fast as you used to.
I've never been able to skate, and although some of my skater friends in school did try to teach me, but they eventually I was like, I'm not going to waste your time anymore. I did still hang out with them though, because the skaters were some of the nicest people in the school.
Yeah. So. And they'll accept everybody.
Oh yeah, they were fine with the fact that I didn't skate.
Yep, they don't care. Yep. And that's where I came from.
They were trying to teach me purely so they could share it. They weren't like trying to.
Or they just like hanging out with you, and they want you to hang out with them, while you're skating. Yeah, I mean, it's
like they don't want me to be bored. Basically.
Yeah, seriously. So anyway, there's 17 parks in the game, and this is where kind of the big changes have come into play here. They cut Chicago and Carnival from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, completely eliminated them from the game, but they added 3 new parks, including a water park. One called Pinball, where Tony Hawk is like this gigantic giant playing this pinball game, and you're skating around inside the pinball machine. And then another new one called Movie Studio, which I absolutely hated. And I feel like they should not have removed Carnival or Chicago from Movie Studio. But anyway, they've made some big changes to this game. This is not just a remaster that looks prettier than the original games. They've done a lot of shuffling around. Just about every stage in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 has been tweaked or altered in some way to fit the 2-minute run timer. And again, I turned that off after a while.
There was no 2-minute run timer in the original?
No, in Tony Hawk 4 there was not.
Oh, 4. Okay,
yeah, in 3 there was, but not in 4. So they had to change, Tony Hawk 4 levels that used to meander off kind of out and almost look like an octopus. Now they're more like centrally located. They took off the tentacles of the octopus and made everything more centrally located, so it's almost like shaped like a box. And it makes a big difference in how you play. So if you're a big Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 player, I don't think you're going to like this, because if you were really into it, you had your lines down. You knew where you were going next before you even did it. And in this, it's not like that anymore. A lot of your lines that you used to be able to pull, they don't work anymore in this game. And so I think people who didn't play Tony Hawk 4 will like this more than the people who did. But at the same time, maybe respecting some of the changes that they made, because I do think for the vast majority of them, they did improve the game with the tweaks that they made to the levels from Tony 4. Also, they made some changes to the time of day, like the London stage is now in the dark, which makes it look worse. I don't understand why they did that at all. And then the zoo stage, where it used to be there used to be animals, the animals are completely gone. And now instead of being an open-ended stage, it's a competition stage where you have 3 runs and they take two of your best 3 runs to create your score. So they tweaked that pretty significantly as well. I mean, there was just big changes up and down all the stages in this game, really. Tony Hawk 3 definitely way more true than Tony Hawk 4, though. As you play the game, you earn money that you use that to unlock new boards, wheels, clothes, trucks, etc. You also use it to pay for secret skaters like Andy Anderson, who's like the new hot boy in skating. He's this guy who skates all disciplines. He even skates freestyle, which is like this forgotten discipline of skateboarding that no one really does anymore, but he does, and incorporates it into his street skating. He's kind of like the it guy at this point in skateboarding, and he's one that you have to pay for. And then Bam, as we mentioned earlier, the Doom guy, as we mentioned earlier, you have to pay for him as well. Although mine was unlocked as soon as the game started.
The Doom guy is the digital deluxe edition.
Okay.
Thing. So you have to pay real money for him.
Got it. But they sent us the digital deluxe, so we got him. But he's
unlocked. Yeah, if you buy that, it's unlocked automatically. You have to pay actual money to get Doom guy. Well, you're not supposed to call him Doom guy.
Yep.
He's the Doom Slayer.
The other thing, too, that was different about the old games was, depending on the skater that you chose, whether he was like a vert skater or a street skater, they would actually change the mission objectives in the game for your skater. That's not the case anymore. Every mission objective is exactly the same now, no matter who you're using as your skater. Like, they used to tweak it. It's like, hey, this mission, do a 900, because you're a vert skater. But if you're a street skater, they'd say, hey, do a grind down this rail or whatever. Now
I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
Now they're all the same. Like, all the missions or objectives are the same no matter what kind of skater you choose. I think that's probably for the best.
Yeah, I mean, they really did take a lot of this back to more like the 1 and 2 philosophy.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't mind because I like those games better. But, yeah.
There's a Create a Park mode, which the games had back in the day, but now you can...
We're this robust.
Yeah, another crazy robust, and you can add actual goals into them. Now, I went and checked it out. There aren't a lot of people creating levels. Like, most of the levels that I saw were created by the development team at Iron Galaxy. So people aren't really jumping on it yet. Hopefully that changes over time. But as of right now, there's really not a lot of user-created stages. I created one. Go give it a go if you can search for it and find it. And then the other extra stuff, there's a multiplayer mode. There's like 3 different options you can play through. One's called Trick Attack, where you try to land the best trick on an obstacle. There's Combo Mambo, where you try to land the best combo in an amount of time. And then there's a graffiti mode where you tag the different objects in the park, and the one who has the most objects tagged when the timer runs out wins. And there's also a Hawk mode where instead of trying to...
Swan Senpai says Vert Street Park and CAS all have different missions in solo tour mode.
Right. That changed. So that's something that you unlock after you finish the game. They kind of... There's pro tour objectives that kind of harken back to that. But you have to have completed every single objective in the game before that option unlocks. I was getting to that, but I hadn't got there yet. You will never see it, Matt. You will not see it. Yeah, so as we mentioned before, the manual revert really changes things, and that was not... Well, actually, it was in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, and that's been brought over here as well, so you can link your combos in between objects. Matt doesn't like that. I thought it kind of opened up the level design a little bit more. It definitely allows you to blow up your combo points. That's for damn sure. You can get combos that you never could have dreamed of before.
I just didn't like that it makes high scores entirely dependent on whether you can do up down.
You're right.
And balance with that stupid ass balance meter.
No, you're right.
Like, I have no interest. Like, that is not interesting to me in any way. That is like, I don't know a fighting game equivalent for that, but it's like if to make a combo work all the time, like if I couldn't do it, it's like if I couldn't do a combo higher than 5 hits without going back forward for nothing, like not to do another move, but just you got to go back forward and now you can do another move. Like, that's what that feels like to me, and I just hate it.
Well, the trick was to make
sure...
I know
it's legit to real skateboarding, but as a gameplay device, I hate it.
Well, the trick was you only did it when you're pretty close to the next obstacle. That way you don't have to worry about the meter for very long. You only do the manual for like 10 feet, and then you're on to the next obstacle.
Yeah, but I just hate... I'd rather just jump to the next obstacle. Like, in the first 2 games, like, you just...
I mean, most of the level design in this is... You can still play it the old way.
Yeah, but you're not going to get the scores that you get...
You're not going to get like a 300,000 point run. Yeah.
And I could on the first 2. And I just... that went away, and I don't appreciate that.
Yep.
It's a different game. It's more of a skateboarding game than a platformer, and that's not what I liked about the first 2, and that's that. I think they did a good job here. Like, it feels like the old one, but also like it's a reminder of how I don't remember how to play these games anymore. Like, it's so fast and so
they're hard
squirrely,
games.
And the camera sucks.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know where anything is.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I'd have to play this long enough to memorize this level.
Or just go on the internet and Google it, because it's not worth it.
Sort of, but I gotta know where everything is already to get there.
Right.
And I remember a time when I knew every inch of that foundry in the beginning of the first level in 3, and I don't. Oh, right, there's valves. Right, I remember that. Where's the 5th valve? Like 24 years ago, me is just like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah,
that's where the valve is. Like, everyone knows where the 5 valves are. But it was a nice throw. Also, like, not having the music really damages.
We're gonna get to that. We're almost there.
Yeah.
One thing you can do is you can customize the controller inputs for your specials, and pretty much every Tony Hawk game has done that. Now the last 5 of them have. But in this game, I do not think that was a part of it when they originally came out. And that's important, because your specials are really what generate big points for your combos. And like, I just set all mine to just up, down, square. That way, every time, no matter what skater I've got, I know I can go up, down, square, and I can pull my special. That makes the game, I feel like, it helps you pull off your bigger combo points anyway. All the animations have been completely redone, which I was surprised to hear, and they look great. In fact, Skate 4 needs to poach the Iron Galaxy's people, because Skate 4 looks like ass. The ironic part is that Skate wants to be realistic, and it's not. This is like the arcade version of skateboarding, and the physics are way more accurate. Like, the way skaters ollie and land on stuff and go down gaps is just way more realistic. They have the physics worked out.
And it was also interesting. I mean, obviously, part of this is being in 4K versus whatever resolution they were before. But now,
480p.
Every once in a while, I'm like, oh right, yeah, that's what that trick looks like. I could never really tell what they were doing in the original.
Yep. And as you know, music has been an integral part of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater since the first one. And I would argue it was way more important back then than it is now, because it was way harder to discover new music back in 2000, 2001. Remember, that was even before Napster at that point. Mm-hmm. And so discovering music back then, you relied on people like me who love music.
That wasn't before Napster.
When was Napster launched?
That was like late 90s. Because when I worked in the San Mateo 24-hour fitness in 2000, the founder of Napster would come in to work out, and it was during the trial. And every once in a while, a couple times I asked him, how's it going? He's like,
I guess I had my timing off there. But it was way harder to discover new music back then. Now it's so easy with Spotify. Somebody can just give you their Spotify playlist, and you're like, wow, this is the genre of music I didn't like before. And they just gave me all the best songs in that genre. It wasn't like that back then. Tony Hawk was integral to turning people on to so many new bands. I don't really feel like it's needed for that anymore. And to that point, there are only 10 songs from the original games in this game. Out of 59 songs, only 10 of them were actually in the first two games when they originally came out in 2001, 2002, or whatever. Which is crazy. Because, I mean, they're just iconic. The songs in these games are iconic. And I get you want to turn some people on to some new bands. Okay, split it 50-50. Give us 30 of the old, 29 of the new.
I'm going to guess that it was because of cost.
It could be.
Like, the classic stuff is probably more expensive to license now, or the licenses last less time.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, the ones that they did choose are interesting. Like the Del the Funky Homo Sapien, the one's like, better wash your ass. Mm-hmm. Like, that song made it in. That's one of the 10 songs that which I always thought that song was funny, but it's not a good song, and it's not iconic with Tony Hawk either, but that's one of the songs that they decided to bring in for this one. Maybe Del was like, we'll give it to you for $1, I don't know. But the selections were very interesting, and again, as somebody who follows a lot of underground music, I don't recognize hardly anything in this game, the music in this game. And I don't think a lot of it's very good either. So
no, I didn't discover any new music in this.
Right, me either. There was not a single song where I was like, what is that? Yeah. Like, I wasn't Shazamming anything. Like, yeah. The soundtrack in this is not as good as the soundtrack that was in the original games. And there's only 10 songs from those original soundtracks, which to me is just like a crime. Like, I can't believe that they would do that.
Chad is saying the reason they call it, or Eve Stevens says the reason they call it a remaster is apparently because they are using the PS2 physics code.
Oh. Well, they're good.
I mean, yeah, again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But, I mean, they have rebuilt the rest of this game from the ground up.
Yeah, they really have.
I think they earned the remake.
I agree 100%. Name. I mean, they've made huge changes. We just talked about all the changes to the level design, the structure, the gameplay.
I mean, they can call it what they want.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
The words don't mean anything anymore, really.
You're right, they don't. I think in general what I would say is that there is just a lot more work done on these games than I thought there was going to be.
Yeah, I was surprised at how extensive the reworking was.
Yeah, I was impressed with it. But, the combination of my hazy memory from 24 years ago and how well all the changes are handled, I think it will keep the game from shocking fans, though. Because it's it's hard to remember the details of a game you played 24 years ago. Yeah. I think a lot of people won't realize all the changes that have been made. They'll just play it and be like, this is cool.
I mean, I didn't play, certainly I barely played 4 at all. I played 3 probably for a couple of days. Yeah. And I don't remember it well enough to know what was different. I clearly knew some things were different. I mean, well, I don't remember all these people. Mm-hmm. And I didn't remember like certain goal. I remembered grinding like knowing having to grind the molten bucket.
Yep.
But
which is still impossible.
You went further in, I was just like, I don't remember any of it. Like, so I don't know. Like again, I don't know, what people are playing this for. Are you playing it for nostalgia reasons? Or are you
playing it because you've never played it before? Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, again, remaster of a 24-year-old game or not, what else are you playing if you like skateboarding?
Right.
Like, there's not really another option that is.
Skate is supposed to come out any month now, but it looks awful.
Like, of this quality? Like,
this is it.
I mean, I know it's not a sim or anything, but like at least it kind of feels like you're skating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it feels way better.
Like it may not be realistic, but it does feel authentic.
I agree.
So
yeah,
like
that's probably better than just about anyone else is doing right now.
I agree. Oh, it's the best skateboarding game, hands down. I agree with that 1,000%. I wish that there was a skating sim that was better than this, but there's not. It's just the truth. Realistically, though, like most players will get through this game in like a weekend. Like I played it for 2 days, and I had pretty much finished the whole game. There was like maybe 2 objectives left that were giving me problems that I hadn't completed yet, but I had pretty much gone through the whole game in like a couple days. And so maybe if you haven't played these games, they'll last you a little bit longer. I'm not a god at Tony Hawk's Pro Skater or anything. I'm good enough to beat all the high point trick objectives or whatever, but I'm not like some crazy savant at Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. And within 2 days, I had pretty much finished everything that I was interested in. I did play the multiplayer for a little bit. It's okay, but it's not something that I would stick with, honestly. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of the question you have here, and I think it's $50, if I remember correctly. It's available for everything, even Switch 2 it's available for. And I think it's like $50, maybe chat can correct me if I'm wrong there, but I think it's like $50. That's probably about right. Like, I don't know, I got 10, 12 hours of gameplay out of it probably before I kind of done everything that I wanted to do and completed everything for the most part. And again, I had played these games when they came out originally. Like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, I played like crazy. Because again, it was this huge thing at GameSpot when it came out. And they gave it a perfect 10. And I was like, man, I really got to dig into this if they're saying this is like one of the 3 best games GameSpot had ever reviewed at that point. Literally, it was like the 3rd ever perfect 10 at that point at GameSpot.
Disagree.
Well, now they just hand them out willy-nilly. Like the 10 doesn't mean anything at GameSpot anymore. But back then, it meant a lot. Like a lot.
This is when it started to stop meaning a lot.
Well, no, there was the JRPG, the Square Enix JRPG that they gave a perfect 10 to that made people even more angry. I can't remember what it is at this point. No.
Was it a Vagrant Story?
No. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, that was the one that everyone got mad about, even more than Tony Hawk, believe it or not. But anyway, that's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 plus 4. It's available for everything. It's around $50. Yep, Vincent says it's $50, or it's on Game Pass. Chrono Cross, Vincent also brings up that is the game that GameSpot
Yeah, I said Chrono Cross.
Oh, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you said Chrono Trigger.
No.
Yeah, it was Chrono Cross. That was the one that
GameSpot, I don't think they existed when Chrono
Yeah,
Trigger
you're right.
came out.
Yeah, they didn't exist. Yeah.
I actually do disagree with Chrono Cross getting a 10 way more than this.
Yeah.
That's actually
people
true.
did. The other part about that was that review was written by a freelancer. It wasn't written by someone in-house. And so people just had distrust organically because of that. And, like, we couldn't talk to the editor about it. Only Greg Kasavin did. And so we didn't get the full explanation. And so anyway, it became this thing at GameSpot.
They really do hand those out like candy now, don't they? It's just everything.
Yep.
Split Fiction.
But that's what happens when you leave.
Metaphor Refantasio? Really? A 10?
That's what happens when a lot of the people who were there from the beginning who cared about that stuff leave, and there's no one left there to kind of explain why it was done the way that it was done. And, you know, you get a new editor in there, and they're just like, well, this seems crazy. We never give 10s.
Deathloop. Give me a fucking break.
So anyway, let's check in with y'all and see if you guys have been playing this. Again, it is on Game Pass, which Vincent just pointed out, and I should have brought up earlier. Vincent says, what did you think of the level design on the new levels? I kind of mentioned that earlier. I mentioned that, again, it's hard to remember, like, what was changed because it's been 24 years since I played the originals. So it was hard for me to figure out. There's some stuff that's obvious. Like, there's some levels, even me, I would have, like, a line that I liked. And I went to go do it in this game, and it would just end. Like, there'd just be, like, a fence there or a ramp that would kind of send you back into the stage. I think generally they did a really good job with tweaking the level design to update. Well, actually, kind of devolve it back to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. So generally, I didn't see anything that were too egregious. But again, I think if you're a hardcore Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 player, like you knew those levels like the back of your hand, and you've scored 5 million point you will notice, and it will probably bother you. I'm just putting that out there right now. But for more casual people who've just played Tony Hawk here and there through the years, I don't think people will notice it at all. Swan Senpai says pinball is a nightmare. Yeah, because the ball keeps flying and, like, hitting you. Like, I don't want that, man. Just a random thing that just knocks you down. Because here's, like, in this game, you try stuff a bunch of times over. And that way, it is kind of like real skateboarding. Usually, it's this dumb stuff. Like, I just can't go up this skinny ramp without bouncing off of it, and I have to keep going back and trying again and again. That is very much like real skateboarding. Like, you try a trick, like, 500 times before you finally land it. Like, even once you've learned a trick, you normally can't do it every single time unless it's something simple like a kickflip or an ollie or something like that. So it does replicate that, but in the worst ways possible. And when you keep trying this stuff over and over, there's these little... It just starts to drive you crazy. It started driving me crazy. Swan Senpai says, making a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater level is hard. It is.
Oh, sure.
You kind of design it like a roller coaster. Like, some of the levels are like roller coasters. Like, you're going around.
20 roller coasters.
Right. All mixed together.
You can switch tracks on at any moment.
It's not easy. Yeah. It is a science. There's no doubt about it. You can't make a Tony Hawk level with AI. I guarantee that. Vincent said that meant the new ones. Water Park Movie Studio. Well, I already said I don't like Movie Studio at all. Like, I just could not find good lines in the Movie Studio one at all. Pinball is cool because, again, you're inside the pinball machine, and the whole time you can see this gigantic Tony Hawk like standing up playing the pinball machine. It's like a novelty, but I found some lines on that one. Water Park, in my opinion, was the best of the new 3 levels. Like, it just had great lines. I always found I never felt like I was running into dead ends or places where I couldn't continue my combos. And again, Revert Manual helps you with that a little bit, but level design even more helps you with that. And so, yeah, I would say that Water Park was my favorite of the new ones. Senpai says, half the team who made those levels all got fired once they finished them. Yeah, probably did. Yep. I mean, that's the truth. Yep. Swan Senpai says the new Skate is fantastic. Nope, it's not. It's really not. Go watch it. Just watch someone ollie. And watch how it's not physics, it's not real. The game is drawing the board in the air and trying to figure out where it should be going. It's like the board is, I don't know how to explain it. It just looks fake. Like the board does not follow the skater the way that it should. It's just like this thing where it's just like tied to them by the game code. Anyway, that game looks like ass. Total ass. I have no interest in playing that game at all, which is sad because I've waited a long time for it. E-Demon says the reason they consider remaster is because the physics, as you mentioned earlier.
Don't worry, Amped 2 is coming back.
Yes. Oh, man. Threadzilla says, I'd love it if they put 1 and 2 together with 3 and 4 so I could launch into any version at will. I mean, that would be cool, actually. Like, I don't think he's asking to, like, put them all on one disc or one product, but if you own them...
No, he is.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, I mean, he's saying, like, so you can have your character be universal, jump into anything from wherever.
See, I thought maybe he was saying, like...
Tony Hawk Universe.
If you own both of them, then you can download some kind of an app that just lets you launch to any of the stages from any of the 4 games from there.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
Either one would be cool.
Is, but...
Yeah, I agree. That would be awesome. I mean, if you own both games, you should be able to just jump between any of the stages that you want to because they all play the same. Noxiator Knight says, I love 3, but 2 is also the peak for me. I think most people will say that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 was their favorite. I think that's pretty common. What else we got here? Swan Senpai says he's not happy with 4, but it's still fun. Yep. Swan Senpai, do you skate? Because you're into Tony Hawk, and so I just figured that you might, or maybe you used to like me. Swan Senpai says the newest update is excellent. Wait till you play it. If you still hate it, then that's fair. Okay, all right. I've been trying to get in on the early access for that, and it's like they ask me like, "Do you like skateboarding?" Yes, I skated. Like all the questions are like yes, and when I finish the questionnaire, they're like, "You're the person that we're looking for. Look for an email from us very soon." Never get the email. Never got the email. I can just watch the footage. So. You say the newest update. I just watched a ton of YouTube videos from that newest update, and it's the same. Like, the physics are not right on the boards. They're not right. They ollie, and they just do this weird floaty thing, and then the game's like, oh, gotta be on the object. Zip onto the object. You ollie downstairs. The arc of the skater is not natural. It's this weird floaty thing where he floats in like a... It's just wrong. I don't know how you can't see it if you skated, man. I don't know. It's plain as day to me. Anyway, let's check in with the YouTube crew. Sub Sam Jam. Your name is really hard to say. Sub Sam Jam. I think we'll probably get a Killer Narrative Yotei trailer. Yeah, probably. They'll do like a story trailer that dives deeper into it, I think. And then he says, arguably, Chrono Trigger is a 10 out of 10? Ha!
I would be more willing to give Chrono Trigger a 10 out of 10. Chrono Cross is dog shit.
Yeah.
Except for the soundtrack. Soundtrack's great.
Yeah, Chrono Trigger... explored some themes that games weren't really exploring back when it came out.
No, not a lot of time paradox, like ruin your own future things going on.
Religious people also got pissed off at that game too. There was some ways that they handled crosses or whatever in it that like angered some religious folks. I remember that was like a little bit of a dust up back in the day.
Trigger or cross?
Trigger.
Yeah, I think there was a cross on a church or something
that pissed people off. There was some way that they handled it that like got all these people angry.
There wasn't anything religious really. I think it was just like there was a cross in a graveyard. I mean, usually Nintendo stopped that. Like you weren't allowed to have crosses on things. Yep. Castlevania had a hard time. That's why the crossing the original Castlevanias is an X.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Instead of a cross. Yeah. It's funny. And then Tyler says, I don't know. For me, Yotei and Shadows are very similar. Yotei will be better, but there's definitely be some fatigue there for me. All right, fair enough.
I mean, at a certain point, it's like, well, I guess that's a lot of sword fighting for 1 year.
It is. But, like, I mean, regardless of even if it's like ninja or samurai or whatever, it's just Asian country sword fighting. It's a lot. Open world Asian country sword fighting. It's a lot. But both games are probably going to be really good. I think I'll get over it. I think I'll be able to deal with it.
And they're on opposite ends of the year. So.
That's true. Yep. All right, that's it for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. We're about to talk about our last game of this episode, but before we do that, here's our word from our sponsor, the Repair app. Cracked phone screen, stuck zipper, busted bike, borked HDMI port, persnickety PlayStation? Don't toss it, boss it with the Repair app. The mission is to build a world where repair is the norm, not the exception. Snap a pic, describe the issue, and find local pros ready to fix it fast. It's not a marketplace, it's a movement that saves your stuff, your sanity, and the planet. No fees, no credit cards, no data collection, no stress. Just fast and fabulous fixes. Track your items and the repairs, log warranties, build a repair history, and become the hero your stuff deserves. Fight landfill guilt, save some cash, and support local business all at the same time. And best of all, it's free. Join the Repair app waiting list today at therepair.app and be among the first to get access. Fix it, keep it, repeat, because trash is so last century. Come on, people. Just like me, you're tired of throwing stuff away that you spent a ton of money on. Those $200 jeans that you bought 4 or 5 years ago when everyone was buying $200 jeans and the zipper got stuck and now you can't wear them anymore. That pair of shoes where the eyelet got torn and you can't tie up your shoes anymore, but you still love the shoes. If you're me, your iPhone 12 that still works just fine other than the battery's dying. That VCR that you have that like you can sell on eBay now for $500, but there's just one little quirk about it that won't work. Don't throw that stuff away. Repair it. Use the Repair app. Go to the Repair, TheRepair.app. TheRepair.app. Go there and sign up. Once you're signed up, you'll be alerted when everything launches. And just in the meantime, after you sign up and you're waiting for the app to come online and for everything to launch, just start going through your closets and start finding stuff that broke, that you never wanted to throw away, and you've just been keeping all this time. Or if something new breaks, now you know what you're going to do with it. You don't have to replace it. You can repair it. You can fix it instead of adding it to another landfill. I know our audience is really conscientious. It's one thing I'm very proud of about our community. You guys care about this stuff. You care about not adding waste. You care about the mountains of clothes that are piling up in third world countries because we're sending them there, because all our fashion is disposable now and everything's made to last like 2 months before it falls apart. If you have a old pair of Levi's or whatever, those things are made to last for hundreds of years. Maybe the zipper got stuck. All that kind of stuff. Just start cataloging it in your mind right now and get ready for when the Repair app launches. Again, go to the Repair, TheRepair.app. Give them your email address. You'll be alerted when the app launches, and then you can start fixing your stuff instead of buying it new. You'll help the environment, and you'll save yourself a ton of money. Go to the Repair.app. All right. You guys are probably wondering what we're talking about last here. And it's Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. Big Ninja Gaiden fan sitting here. I have not played a 2D Ninja Gaiden game in 30 years. Has it been that long?
I think so. I mean, the Super Nintendo ones, yeah.
Well, there was was it a DS game?
The DS game, but I think it was the old arcade, original arcade.
Was that what it was?
An adaptation of the original arcade. It might have been a little different.
I thought there was maybe a new. I
don't remember
new
one.
Version.
I mean, there was that terrible 3D. What was it?
Yaiba,
yeah.
Ninja Gaiden Yaiba or whatever. Yeah.
I don't remember another 2D one for a very long time.
Bottom line is, it's been a long damn time since we played a 2D Ninja Gaiden game. I didn't even know what I wanted.
I mean,
from
the Messenger is kind of.
Yeah. I mean, look, people have taken it and tried to run with it, but as far as a legitimate Ninja Gaiden 2D game, it has been a long time. And here comes Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. Here's the interesting thing. You wait all this time to play a 2D Ninja Gaiden, and you don't play as Ryu. So the setup for this is you are Ryu's apprentice, and he's training you. Your name is Kenji Mozu, and he's been training you to become a defender of the clan, the ninja clan. And suddenly, your hamlet, your village, comes under attack. And at the same exact time, as luck would have it, Ryu gets a message saying that his father has died, but with his father's dying wish, he told Ryu to go to America and to bring the dragon sword. So basically, this is happening congruently with the Ninja Gaiden timeline. When Ryu goes to America to avenge his father's death, this is what's happening back in the village, basically, is what the setup is for. So you play as Kenji Mozu, and he is basically just another part of the clan, but you also end up playing as another character that I'll get to later on. Now, kind of the real twist with this game is that the combat is one-hit kills for 85% of the enemies. And the whole game's designed that way. So you may say, oh, that sounds crazy, that sounds easy. No, it's not easy, because that just means that they throw more enemies at you, and it's all about timing it and making sure that you have the distance to land that attack to kill each enemy. Now, not every enemy goes down in one attack. There are mini bosses that take more than that, and then the bosses take, they're typical bosses where you got to chip them down or whatever. But there's a bunch of different mechanics that you use in the game, and they've designed it all around those mechanics. First thing I'm going to say is that this is not really a hack and slash. It's just a hack. You just have that one slice with your sword, and it takes out most of the enemies. So it's not like, if you're used to playing 3D Ninja Gaiden, which most people probably are at this point, it's very different. In Ninja Gaiden, the 3D games, you got to hack, even for the rank and file enemies. Not in this. It's just one slice, and they die. And that takes a while to get used to, but again, because the whole game is designed around it, you start to figure it out pretty quickly. So, as I said, you die in one hit, but there's this ability called a hypercharge. So some enemies you'll run into, they'll have like this almost like turquoise aura around them. And if you kill them, that gives you what's called hypercharge. And then hypercharge will allow you to either kill mini bosses. There they are. So see those skulls have that like aqua around them? Mm-hmm. If you kill any enemy with that aqua around them, your next hit is a one-hit kill. So the game is very smartly designed, and you learn as you play over time that you save the enemies with the blue aura so you can attack them and kill them right before you go after the big bad guy. And so that is kind of like in the back of your mind while you're playing. If you see the blue, make sure that you save it. You don't kill that enemy until you really need to, and you need to fight a boss. You need to take down a mini boss or something like that. That adds a whole bunch of strategy into the game. And then alternately, you can sacrifice your own health bar to also go into hyperdrive. And I think you hold the square button on the PlayStation controller to do that. And so you can strategically decide, hey, this section of the game seems a little bit easier. I'm going to sacrifice some of my health bar so that I can use this to take out this mini boss a little bit easier. So there's like a lot of risk and reward in how you use it ultimately. And this mechanic is used ad nauseum. It's not just used on enemies. So eventually you get to, and this game is not just a hack and slash. In some ways, it's kind of a puzzle platformer, because you can also use the hypercharge to take out these obstacles that they put in your way. So sometimes there'll be these big, like, wooden things that are blocking the path. The only way that you can get rid of those is to attack them with your hypercharge. So that's another way that they kind of do puzzle platforming. They'll send enemies at you that give you the hypercharge, and then you need to get to the place where you need to hack the big wooden thing to make it break down before time runs out. So there's a lot of, like, precision platforming required in this, chopping out extra moves, extra slashes that you don't need, because the timing on some of those are pretty freaking brutal. It's like if you don't do them perfect, you don't make it. Like they'll close down a door that you need to go through before you can get to the thing that you need to hack with the hypercharge or whatever. And the hypercharge is a huge part of this game. It literally kind of drives pretty much all the combat and all the platforming. It is used all over the place. There's also a roll ability that you get that lets you roll through like these narrow pathways. It also lets you dodge past some impenetrable objects. So sometimes there'll be things that are like pounding down on the ground, and they pound so fast that you can't really run through them, and you need to roll through them. And then also there's like these little, it's almost kind of like Metroid, where you get to some of these pathways that are very short, like a foot or two tall, and you have to roll through those. You don't stay into the ball form, you roll through and then you come out the other side. But again, the level design is very Metroid-like in that way. Also, you've probably seen in the B-roll already, and you're about to see it here. When you jump on something, it's almost like Mario. You get like an extra little boost when you land on something. You can head bonk enemies. You can head bonk those like fireballs or whatever. That'll help you jump like longer gaps and boost over gaps. It took me a while to figure that out, honestly, before I finally got good at it. There's also something called a guillotine boost, which is like a midair spin that you can use, and you almost act like a pinball when you do that. You bounce off enemies and projectiles. And then, as I mentioned earlier, there's another playable character in the game called Kumori. And Kumori is actually from the Black Spider clan, which is the rival clan with Ryu's clan. And so it's this uneasy alliance that you have with her, but ultimately, the stuff that you can do with her, it's so powerful and amazing that you just make the sacrifice and start working with the Black Spider clan member. So you can tag team with her to do like these crazy takeout moves. You can use a key meter to fuse with her, and then you can summon these like spider weapons that do these crazy, devastating attacks. And then there are sections of the game where she plays by herself. So she has a kunai, and eventually the base character gets a kunai as well. But it's on like a timer or like it's limited. She has like unlimited kunai. And it matters because when she throws her kunai at these very specific things, it will teleport her to where the kunai landed. And so there are platforming sections with her where she goes into this like dark world that your other character can't go to, that are just these crazy, challenging platforming sections in the game. And honestly, for my money, the hardest part's in the game. So she's very important. She fuses with you. She has her own abilities that she can use. Again, she has the kunai that she can use, and her levels are built around using that kunai and her teleporting abilities. What else is there to say? Things are color-coded in this, kind of like the way they were in Ghost of Yotei. So there's pink and blue, I think is the other color. So a blue aura means that you have to slice them up with the katana, and then the purple aura means that you need to use the kunai. And again, with her, it's not a big deal because she has unlimited kunai, but with him, it's not that way. And then you can also perform these screen-clearing super attacks called Ragebound arts. And if I remember correctly, you like hold triangle and circle to do those, but you build up your meter, and then you do your special, basically. That's nothing new. The other thing I would say, too, is like I think most people think of Ninja Gaiden, and they're like, oh, it's so hard, it's impossible, or whatever. I did not find this game that challenging at all. I managed to, like, there's a demo up right now on Steam. You can go play this if you want to for yourself. There's 2 full stages, and then, like, a training level as well that you can play through. So there's, like, 3 levels, basically, that you can play through. I really didn't hit too many bumps in the road. Honestly, her platforming sections, to me, were the most challenging parts of the game. Because there's lots of timing where you're like firing the kunai and anticipating hitting something before you actually see it on the screen. And it's got to the point where I was like, oh, I see how this is going to work. You got to memorize this stuff, and either you memorize it or you don't. But you can see the kunai. You can throw them in any direction. You can throw them left, right, or down. So that little orb down on the bottom there, that refills his kunai. But when you're playing as the girl, the other character, you don't need that at all. She just keeps getting them replenished. So the game is designed in such a way that when you strike that kunai refill, it only gives you so many. And you need to be really good with your kunai to get through the next little section of the game until they give you more, basically. And that's kind of another way that the level design is pretty intelligent. Here's a spider weapon I was talking about earlier that she gives you when you fuse together with her. And they just give you like different patterns that you can attack. And again, that's a big part of this game, is figuring out what what weapon or ability you need to use to reach the enemies that they're putting in your path. So there's a lot of what you're seeing right now, like positioning yourself just perfect so you're not getting hit by their attacks, but you can land one and beat them. So in a lot of ways, again, this game is not really about like hacking and slashing and that precision, muscle memory, and timing your parries at the right exact time. It's really more about like thinking, time management, figuring out what abilities you have and what the game is asking you to do. This is what I was talking about earlier. So I'm going to kill with the pink, and then I should be able to slash that. See? So that's how this game works. It's like you kill an enemy, a color-coded enemy, and it gives you ability that helps you then move on, basically with puzzle platforming on through the level. So it's not really like any Ninja Gaiden game. And I haven't played the original Ninja Gaiden in a really, really long time, but I don't remember it being like this. I remember it being all about like timing your slashes and your attacks.
Well, the original Ninja Gaiden is an arcade game beat 'em up.
Mm-hmm.
So it has nothing to do with anything
that
has ever come after it.
Right.
The NES ones are hard as nails, action platformers. Honestly, if you didn't tell me this was Ninja Gaiden, I wouldn't know it.
Yeah.
Like, it just looks like another ninja game.
Just generic hack and slash ninja game.
There's a lot of these around at this point. Like, Shadow of the Ninja or whatever that one, that kind of made that a thing.
Yeah, I mean, other developers have filled the void because they weren't giving us the games, It's like, hey, people want a new Ninja Gaiden type game, but if you're not going to make it, we'll make it. And they've done a pretty good job at making those other games as well. Those games are also worth investigating.
I mean, this definitely looks cool. It's more Ninja Gaiden than Yaiba was, that's for sure. But it's just it's an interesting thing to slap the label on.
And then the boss fights. So when I said the hypercharge works differently on the bosses, it stuns the bosses. So it doesn't kill them in one hit like it does the other enemies.
I saw that in the boss when you hit him with the hypercharge and it basically wall bounced him.
Yeah, and then you can just unload for a while until he recovers, rinse and repeat. That's pretty much how it works. But the more you play this, the more you start to understand how the color coding works. Like when I first started playing it, I was just killing everything. As you play more, you start to realize, I just wasted that hypercharge that I could have got from that enemy on a rank and file enemy. And you start to be a lot more strategic with how you play the game after a while. Because you get to like these mini bosses or whatever, you're like, man, if I let them hit me even once, I lose like a quarter of my health. I don't want that to happen anymore. So you start to learn how to make sure that you've hit another enemy to get the hypercharge before you attack that mini boss or whatever. And again, as you play, you start to get better at it. You start to figure out what the game wants you to do and what the game is asking you to do. Yep. So you see, I just keep attacking that enemy up there, so it gives me that hypercharge that I can keep attacking the mini boss with until I finally defeat him. So again, it's very different from any other Ninja Gaiden game that you've probably ever played. And I think that's good. Like, I think it's interesting to find new approaches to constructs like this, particularly when you're switching dimensions and things like that, going from 3D to 2D. Checkpoints are pretty plentiful. You probably figured that out already just watching this B-roll. There's a checkpoint every 3 or 4 screens. But I still died. I still would die on those 2 or 3 screens before I could get to that checkpoint. And again, a lot of it isn't via combat. A lot of times you die because you just didn't make it through the gauntlet in the time before the door closes or something like that. And here you're getting, finally, your first look at the other playable character, Kumori, who, again, is a part of the enemy. But you can see, you transform into her, and then her sections where she plays by herself are almost all platforming. She does have the kunai, so she can still, throw things and stuff like that. But for the most part, all of her levels are like this. You transform into her, and then it's this platforming gauntlet that you have to try to get through. And again, some of these got frustrating after a while, and that's what made me actually stop playing it. Not the hacking and the slashing or the puzzle platforming. It was just her platforming sections I thought got really hard after a while and became a little bit more challenging than I was in the mood for at the time that I was playing it. Also, there's a map screen that you go to where you choose the levels from. Once you complete a level, you can go back and play it again and again. There's a couple collectibles in the game that you can find. I haven't figured out exactly what they do yet, honestly. There's scarabs and there's crystal skulls. Now, the scarabs, I think, are going to be currency for a shop, for Muramasa's shop, but that's actually not in the demo. But I think that's what that's for. I have no idea what those crystal skulls are for, though. There's 3 of them in each level, I think. And maybe it's just to find them and collect them.
Weren't the crystal skulls in one of the other Team Ninja ones as currency?
Maybe.
That wasn't that in 2? Wasn't that what you
I don't know.
found
I don't know.
instead of
Actually,
scarabs?
I don't remember. Scarabs, though, I think are currency in this, though. The other thing too is that this game is rated T for teen. It is not an M-rated game. It's got a little bit of blood in it, but it doesn't like have the hyper gory, hyper violent sort of aesthetics of the 3D Ninja Gaiden game. So they have dialed it back and toned it down a little bit for this 2D outing, which I'm not sure why they would do that, honestly.
I mean, that kind of gore doesn't often look great in 2D like this.
That's probably true.
I mean, everything's bleeding. It's just green because they're demons.
Right, yeah. But, you know, that stuff was showering all over the place in the 3D games, and in this, it's pretty muted. But, you know, having a T rating instead of an M rating, you're probably going to sell more games.
Well, and also, like, the old Ninja Gaiden games were not gory either. Like, you know,
No, you're right.
That was very specifically Itagaki.
It was, yeah. Yeah, you're right. But it does feel like he kind of transformed it into...
I think of those three as kind of their own separate thing from the rest of the game. Also, because, like...
I'm just thinking about, like, the modern player who probably didn't play the old games at all like we did.
Yeah, well, who cares? The other games are old now, too. So.
Yeah, they really are at this point. They're also retro
like,
games.
You know, does anyone pay attention anymore to the fact that Ryu's dead?
Right.
That he's a resurrected corpse spirit since the beginning of the first game? Like that's very strongly implied at the end of the first game that he's actually dead and the Hawk brought him back to take revenge. And then just never really brought up again. He just sort of shows up every, you know, and I know that what's his name, the old shopkeeper guy, says at the beginning of the second one, no one knows where a ninja goes. But like, sounds like he went to hell, dude. Like I think he's.
That's great. Yeah, so now you're seeing another one of her levels, and again, they're just all platforming for the most part. There's some light combat, but for the most part, they're just really putting your traversal skills to the test. And here's where you start using the kunai to do the teleporting and the warping, and you're kind of just jumping blind a lot of the times. Like, you don't... and that's where I was like, okay, I'm good. But anyway, that is Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. It is coming to everything on... I have the date here somewhere.
I think the 31st.
It's the end of the month. Yep, the 31st. And it's coming to everything but Switch 2. It hasn't been announced for Switch 2 yet. My guess is eventually it'll come to that as well. But it just hasn't been announced yet.
Switch?
It is for Switch,
so you can just buy it.
Yeah, you can just buy it and play it on Switch 2.
I imagine you don't need a lot of Switch 2 enhancement.
Probably not for 2D games. Actually, that's a good point. You probably don't. It doesn't matter, really. A Switch 1 game might as well be a Switch 2 game if it's 2D. Yeah. Maybe it runs a little faster, but, I mean... You don't come across too many 2D games that slow down in 2025.
Not too often.
It just doesn't really happen. And I'm glad that we're in that place where that's not happening anymore. But anyway, there you go. That's Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. Again, available for everything, coming out on July 31st. AJ the Legend Watson, what's up, brother? He asks, is there a backtracking involved or a straightforward path? So... I think you saw a little bit there on that the end of that B-roll where I kind of, like, Ryo could have gone to the right, but I went to the left instead, and there was that little thing where he can transform into her. That's kind of how it works. I wouldn't call it backtracking, but you do want to kind of look around and push to the edges of each screen, and it'll give you a little preview of what's in the other screen. You want to do that because there's some hidden stuff, but again, generally what you get from doing that are, like, the skulls and the scarabs. And the scarabs, while they're currency or whatever for the shop, I don't know what the skulls do at all. So I don't know if it's actually worth it to go and find that stuff. I found a lot of them in the demo anyway.
Crystal skulls were the equivalent of scarabs in Ninja Gaiden 2.
Okay.
So I'm sure they're used for trading in for
something.
I don't know, upgrades or weapons or bonus art. Who knows? Who knows what that is?
Yeah. Ryoga Hibiki says, looks like classic Ninja Gaiden of the 8-bit, 16-bit era. But again, it's really not. It's not. Again, you can see in the B-roll, it's not really just about hacking and slashing and fighting enemies all the time. It's a lot more thoughtful than those early Ninja Gaiden games were. And you may like that or you may not. Like, some people may want just the more swordplay-based game. It's really not.
You play the old ones now, and they're pretty I mean, they're hard. Like, you got to know everyking. You got to be good
memorize,
at it.
Yeah.
But, like, there's not a lot to it.
Yeah. Yeah, the controls are pretty simple, and they're pretty simple in this too.
And the wall climbing in the originals is really
it's annoying.
It's very annoying because it doesn't work the way you think.
Yep, I remember that. Yep. Corey Film, thank you for Twitch Prime. That's incredible. We appreciate it. Sub Sam Jam says Ragebound looks fantastic. The artist David Liu, DS Lugie, contributed to the concept art and promotional art. His work is very 90s anime inspired, really cool stuff. The game looks great. I mean, it really does, and it ran well. I was running it on my PC. It better run well after all the money I spent on my PC.
Very smooth.
Yeah. Anything
His
else?
run animation is very good.
Yeah. I think all of it looks real good, honestly, for 2D visuals. Noxator is very happy for the Game Kitchen. Yep, that's who developed the game, the Game Kitchen. And it's going to be published by Koei Tecmo still. But yeah, the developers, they went out of house for that. Playland MX says the Blaze Swing looks more Strider than Ninja Gaiden. I would agree with that as well. And there was a DS game.
Yeah, Dragon Sword.
Dragon Sword. I thought so. The DS game was good. Ninja Dog mission clearances.
I remember nothing about that game.
I just remembered that it existed, and that was about it.
It was early enough that they were still naming everything with a DS.
Yeah, and that was another one. Yep. Yeah, this is for video games. Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword is what it was called. Yep. Dragon Blade for DS, Grumpolopolis thought. Zed Saber to Juno. Silly Shane, trash does not go into the landfill. They get dumped into the ocean now. So we all can have microplastics going through our veins. Isn't it great? People talking about the cross in video games. All right. Yeah, I didn't expect Ninja Gaiden Ragebound to generate a ton of discussion, but I think it's definitely a game worth keeping your eye on as we get closer to the end of the month.
I'm waiting for Shinobi.
Yeah. And that is...
August.
That's August. So not much farther after that. A few weeks, actually, after that.
Yeah, I think it's end of August. August 29th or something like that? It's late August, I think, if I remember right.
Okay.
Although that also doesn't really look like Shinobi in the same way this doesn't really.
No, you're right.
Ninja Gaiden.
But I think it still looks really good.
It does. I'm curious. I'm very particular in my Shinobi preferences.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't understand why they haven't remastered the PS2 games.
I don't either.
That
one was hard.
Oh, they're both incredibly hard. Shinobi and Kunoichi are
one
two
of the hardest
games
games I ever played. I think. I remember watching Adam try to play that game. It was like me last night with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. I was just losing it.
Whereas Miguel was he was good. Top ranked every single level in both of
He
those
loved
games.
that game.
He loved it, yeah.
Everyone else dreaded it. I ain't playing that. He's like, I'll play it.
No, he loved it.
Yeah, he really did.
He liked the high skill ceiling. He also loved Otogi.
Mm-hmm, that's right. That's another one. That's another blast from the past.
He was the From Software guy before.
From Software existed. Does he like From Software games?
No, that was From Software.
It was actually. Otogi was, yeah.
I think he does. Yeah.
Does he? Is he a Souls-like fan?
I don't know if he has time for that anymore.
Yeah.
He's a roving photographer in Japan now.
Fun gig if you can get it. All right. Well, we're through all our major topics in GameFace, which means there's just one thing left to do, and that's our lightning round, the news roundup, where we go through the biggest news stories from the week and try to just spend a minute or two on each one. Sometimes we spend a little bit longer, and that's okay. It all depends on how much time we have. And Matt, we're actually tracking okay for time for once on GameFace. I think we're okay. We're going to get through all our topics in the lightning round today. Are you ready to go through these?
Yeah, I'll fix that.
You probably will. All right. Our first topic in the lightning round. So we talked last week about the Xbox layoffs and cancellation of Perfect Dark, cancellation of Everwild at Rare, and we also talked about how ZeniMax Online Studios was working on this MMO shooter that Phil Spencer loved and had to be dragged away from, and they ultimately canceled it anyway after 7 years of development. Well, now it's come out, actually, that the reason, well, maybe not the reason, but one of the byproducts of them canceling that game is that now means that Fallout 5 can go into full production. This information comes from Jez Corden of Windows Central, who pretty much has a peerless track record of breaking news like this. And he is saying that because of the canceled ZeniMax MMO, Fallout 5 has now gone into full production. Is that good or bad, Matt?
I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
I would rather have Fallout 5 than some MMO.
Than some Destiny clone.
And it's probably going to make them more money than some MMO. So.
And I don't know that this makes sense to me, where
it's not like Microsoft can't dig up the budget for both of those games.
Exactly.
Obviously,
that's a funny
very
thing.
Weird way to phrase
feels like this is some kind of a BS thing that Microsoft put out there.
It feels very much like well, sure, this looked pretty cool, but if you got that, you wouldn't get Fallout 5.
Exactly.
It's
it feels like this is all fabricated.
Wouldn't I?
Yeah, because I have a feeling.
Are you telling me if you made that MMO, you would never make another Fallout game? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Even though you have this TV show,
Phil. Are we being for real here?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like it's like, oh my god.
This felt like a very jangly Keys PR announcement.
It really did. Yep.
And I know it wasn't a PR announcement. It was
right.
Jazz talking about, but it was just, I don't. It's very. Maybe there's a finite amount of money they assigned, but it's like it really feels hard for me to believe that you would like the time would come to put Fallout 5 into full production and Microsoft was big. Well, we're already funding this MMO, this new IP. We can't put any money into the biggest IP we own next to Elder Scrolls. That's just not a thing that can happen right now. We're only Microsoft. We already bought Activision. We can't be throwing. It's like, give me a fucking
That is
break.
some fuzzy logic going on there, man. Big time. Yeah, I think it's total trash, but look.
Like, shouldn't it be the other way? Like,
right.
it's like we canceled Fallout 5, so now we can afford to fund
do this MMO thing?
Yeah.
It should be. Look, I would prefer Fallout 5 over a Destiny clone.
But I don't, that doesn't...
But that doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't ring true to me.
Yeah.
You have infinite money. You could fund both things.
I mean, it's a red herring, basically.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, you're all pissed off about what we did over here, but look over here.
Yeah, you like Fallout 5, right? Look at Fallout Boy.
Exactly.
Look at Pip Boy. He's happy. He's happy to be back.
We'll release another bobblehead.
Pip Boy, he doesn't play MMOs. He would hate that game. You should hate that game. Yeah. Just like Pip Boy. It's just like, it's so dumb.
It's shady AF is the way I would describe it. Next up in the lightning round. So we've been talking about the Xbox handheld that Microsoft partnered with Asus on a couple months ago. We got the first trailer for it a couple weeks ago. And good old Google ads. Apparently, like, they're not minding their P's and Q's. And there was a Google ad that popped up that showed the price of the Rogue Xbox Ally, which is the upcoming handheld. And it revealed the prices to be, for the cheaper version, $700, and for the more expensive, higher post version, $1,050, $1,050.
Yeah, and this was converted from euros, but that's no thank you.
Wow. How much are the next consoles going to cost, Matt?
I don't know. Like, if they do the branded PC thing with the Xbox, like the top end one, $1,200 maybe.
I'm saying at the least $700. At the least.
Yeah.
That's like best case scenario right now.
I mean, obviously the floor is $700 now, even the PS5 Pro.
Because of the Pro, yeah. What's going to happen? They released this at $700 and $1,000. Who's going to buy this?
I don't know.
What? How?
Not me.
This makes no sense. You cannot get people to buy your console for $500.
Right, but this is a PC. So you can play other stuff on it.
Right.
You know?
I mean, it is. Technically, you're right. But still.
I don't know. I mean, I think the handheld gaming PC things are out of control already.
Right. And it's just added to the pile. I just don't understand what Microsoft and Xbox's goal is with this.
Did you see the guy? It wasn't an AMD. I think it was a 3080 like processor.
Yeah.
But did you see the? He works at I think it was either a Best Buy or it was like a repair place thing. Mm-hmm. And the guy brought it in to see if he could fix his thing. Apparently, when he took it off, he thought you twisted it to take it off, and all the pins are just like spiraled around. I was like, oh no, that physically hurt me to see.
Because if you build PCs, that those pins are just like,
you're
sewed.
Like tweezers and down and like you're just seeing it's like, oh, someone actually did the thing I have bad dreams about doing by accident.
And now you know what the end result is. I'm just saying.
Yeah, let me just hammer those back into back vertical again. Yeah.
Here's the thing: how can this be more expensive than the Steam Deck? Because it's the same effing thing.
Because Microsoft gets a cut too.
Right, but it's like, how could you think it would sell? People would just buy a Steam Deck.
I don't know.
I mean, they're counting on people.
I am done trying to come up with explanations for what Microsoft is doing
with hardware. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what's going on here, but Andy T. Monahan says an Xbox product without calling it an Xbox. No one will notice. Mm-hmm. The Legacy says, I thought Steam Deck prices were pushing it. Seriously?
Yeah.
It's insane. I don't know what Microsoft is thinking
here.
At
this point, just buy an actual PC.
Seriously? I don't get it. I feel like we're just missing something. There's some important piece of information we just haven't been given yet around this stuff.
You need to remember how out of touch some of these people are up in these boardrooms and up in these C-suites. Like, how often stuff like that happens, and they just don't understand what things are going to do when the rubber meets the road.
It's insane, Matt. This is going to fail so miserably. I mean, I do wonder if, like, they are going to use this and just go
give
back
me a break, Vincent. People value handheld gaming, and YouTube don't. For $1,000? For $1,000? If you value handheld gaming, you'll buy something that isn't this.
How quickly he forgot about how people complained about $450 for Switch 2.
Yeah. I mean, not that stopped it, did it?
Well, it's only $450. This is double the price. Right. Like,
well, at least, with Switch 2, also you get Nintendo. You get games you can't play any other way.
I mean, let's not forget
like, this has no selling point.
Yeah, let's also not forget the Steam Deck has only sold 5 million units.
But again,
5 million units.
But again, why in the world would I ever buy this over either a Steam Deck or just like a regular Rogue?
I don't know.
Like, what is the
cheaper,
advantage here?
because you can play the Xbox exclusives on it because they're not on Steam.
Right.
That's it.
But
you can play the Xbox exclusives that have a PC version.
Right.
Which is
but
pretty much all of them
version.
at this point. Yeah. That's it, though.
But
otherwise, no, it's not worth the money. It's just insane.
Again, if the Xbox catalog was worth that much to people, you wouldn't be having that much trouble selling Xboxes, right?
Again, their console costs $500 and no one wants it.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they want $1,000 handheld?
Well, how much more is that than like just buying a Steam Deck? Like $300?
Well, Steam Deck also obviously has levels.
Tiers, but I mean, there's a point at which it's not worth it.
You can get a Steam Deck, the lower models, for like $500 or $600.
Right, but the power level on that is...
Yeah. Is it comparable to this? I don't know.
If you just want to play Hollow Knight, sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can play most 3D games.
You can, but they're not going to be...
They're not going to look great.
Look great.
But on a small screen, they don't have to look quite as good.
But like, again, if you're in for 560, you might as well be in for 750 to some degree. If you're gonna this is gonna be your primary gaming device, right? But I'm just saying, like, how much extra money is the Xbox catalog worth to you?
Yeah, not that much.
I wouldn't say so.
I mean, I think what we've discovered is that kids like handhelds still, and adults don't. I mean, that is what we've discovered. Kids like handhelds. They like Switch. They like Switch 2. They like their handheld they can take around. Adults do not.
And Rabalisk notes you can install Windows on a Steam Deck to play Xbox exclusives if you want.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you totally could. So what is the point
of
this?
Like, I don't know what you're paying the extra for this thing.
I have no clue, Matt. I am completely flummoxed by this whole thing. I
mean, if you really love Xbox that much, I don't know. That Xbox branded Quest sold out immediately, so maybe I mean, that didn't cost this much, but
I mean, that was basically just like a TV for people who don't have a big TV, though. Like, that's all it really was. But
I think they're going to be disappointed by that.
Yeah, probably
when they get it on their head.
Yeah, I agree. So anyway, I have a feeling that these prices might come down by the time the thing actually releases. There's no way Microsoft and Xbox can avoid the feedback on this that's been happening over the last like 2 days.
Yeah, although we'll see. I mean, again, the feedback. You'd think the feedback on Nintendo was, black and white, and then the thing came out and it sold out.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
A bunch of people yelling in a Twitch chat don't really amount to anything, no matter how much it looks like they're...
Yeah, I mean, again, that was $450.
Right, but I'm saying that the backlash was comparable. I mean, I don't actually probably won't be comparable because not that many people care about this. But
right.
But I mean, like,
bigger.
when they were trying to do events after the announcement, it was like the chat was just drop the price, drop the price, drop the price, drop the price. Yeah. No $80, no $80, under $400, under $400. That's all people said. They didn't say anything else. And then like it came out and everybody bought it anyway. So.
I think those were just the fanboys though trying to influence Nintendo to get them to
drop
the
price.
I'm
just saying like that again.
They knew they were going to buy it still.
It doesn't matter. I mean, I don't know how many of those people all still bought it.
I'm sure,
but like
most of them. Yeah.
But like it doesn't mean it's destined for failure. I just don't understand where $1,000 for one of these things comes from.
I think it's destined for failure. If it's $700 and $1,000, it's doomed.
Well, and again, Nintendo has you over a barrel because
it's not the way to play its games.
It's not a Donkey Kong joke, but it's like, but again, they have you because if you want to play their games, you need that system.
Yeah,
that is not true of this.
No, you're right. Yep.
So that's been Xbox's problem. Is like, why would I get an Xbox when I can just play everything on PC?
That's its new problem.
Handheld or desktop.
Or now on PS5.
Yeah.
Or Switch.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. Okay, let's move on to the next topic in the lightning round. This story has been going on for 3 days, Matt, and I don't even know where to begin with this one. So it all started with Subnautica 2 being delayed. The game was delayed into 2026. It was supposed to come out this year. It was delayed. Like the next day, the founders of the studio left. And nobody knew if they left or if they were fired or whatever. Then it comes out that the developers were due a $250 million payment in a couple months if the game came out this year. And the developers were like, look, these scumbags at Krafton delayed the game so they would not have to pay us the $250 million bonus.
The developers are saying the game is ready.
Right.
It'll be ready in time.
Because it's about to go into early access and blah, blah, blah. Krafton's like, no, it's not ready. We're delaying it to 2026, which kept Krafton from having to pay the studio $250 million. So that news comes out. Then Krafton comes back and says, oh, wait a minute. Actually, what happened is we already paid them one $250 million bonus, and once we paid them that money, they became lazy and didn't want to work on the game anymore. And that's why the game was delayed, because they got lazy and didn't work hard anymore and didn't finish the game in time. And then it came back again to where the developers are like, it's just insane what is happening. What do you think the real story is?
I mean, you know me, I'm going to generally side with the developers by default.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what we got $250 million and now we're lazy means. What does that mean? Like, what are they saying they did?
They said they lost motivation once they got the payout.
Why?
Because they had money. They were rich beyond their wildest imagination.
That's not how anything works.
I know.
If you get monetarily rewarded for the creative thing you're making, it gives you incentive and morale to keep doing it. That's why Steven Spielberg didn't stop making movies after Raiders of the Lost Ark, you fucking morons.
Well, here's the thing. Like, it's all bullshit. They're just saying this to try to wiggle out of it so that their reputation isn't ruined.
I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to the people that don't look like they're trying to wriggle out of paying a $250 million bonus.
Right. This is just some shady stuff. Krafton is owned by Embracer, which is...
My guess is we'll see some lawsuits on this soon enough. So.
I think they already filed one.
Yeah.
I think developers actually already filed a lawsuit about it. Yeah.
Fuck these people.
I mean, it is pretty freaking dirty, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially for, I love Subnautica 1. I mean, I really like them.
Well, also, Krafton, don't forget, like, after Glenn Schofield's game came out, basically we're like, well, we're going to dissolve that studio now. He had to leave the studio that he founded after one game. Like... Krafton has been doing some shady stuff for a while now.
And now I don't know what to do with Subnautica 2 because
I want to play it.
I want to play it. I want to support the devs, but I don't want to give any money to Krafton.
I know. What do you do?
Yeah.
Well, you're going to have plenty of time to think about it, Matt, because they delayed it into 2026, and that is one thing that is not changing. They are not going to now release it in 2025. So no matter what, we're going to have to wait another year, 9 months, whatever, before we get to play Subnautica 2 because Krafton is playing games with the finances. So... this is just a cautionary tale to indie developers. Because what can you do, really, in this case? You can sue them, but what court understands this?
Yeah, that's a hard thing.
That's like the Activision Blizzard thing, where you have these old 70-year-old dudes trying to figure out, like, who don't understand anything about the industry.
The old Resident of Evil Creek conundrum.
Seriously. I mean, you may run into that if you go take this to court, where they're like, well, what do you mean if they're saying it wasn't finished?
Well, and also, I mean, to be fair, the old judges are like our age now. Right. So they do understand what video games are.
Some of them. The ones that were on that whole court case for Activision Blizzard acquisition didn't sound like us.
That is a higher court that is made up of much older people.
Like 80-year-olds or whatever.
Those are the boomers aren't out of those halls.
It was embarrassing.
But this, I would imagine, would not go to like federal courts unless they kept being appealed. That could happen. But I imagine the local courts, wherever this is or wherever they take it, would be probably staffed by people that at least understand what a controller does.
Yeah, I would hope, but there's no guarantee. That's for sure.
Or even if you have kids, you're kind of forced to know what some of this is.
Yeah, you are. So anyway, that saga is ongoing. We'll probably talk about it again here on GameFace, but we just wanted to put it on your radar. It's one of the crazier things that has happened in 2025.
Yeah, I imagine we'll be hearing about that going forward more.
I agree. All right, next up in the lightning round, Virtuos.
Fire Native says the more we hear about the top people at all businesses, the more we know most of them are not good people.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's how they got there, though.
I mean, there's a higher percentage of CEOs that are psychopaths and sociopaths than in any normal slice of the population, because to get to that level of power, to get that level to work your way up that ladder, you kind of got to not care about other people to some degree.
You're cutthroat. Yeah, I figured that out. When I was a VP at a big, gigantic corporation, I was like, if I want to move past VP to SVP or into the C-suite, I need to be an asshole. Because I saw the other people in the company who were getting promoted up. They were the people that everybody hated. So, unfortunately, if you want to be that successful in capitalism, you kind of have to be a douchebag.
That's good die young and pricks live forever.
It does seem to feel that way sometimes. Okay, next up in the lightning round. Virtuos is one of the industry's biggest port houses. They port games from multiple consoles to PC and vice versa. What I'm getting at is they really understand how consoles work and how hardware works and how they talk to each other and what it's like to port from one thing to another. And they have been doing some investigating on the Nintendo Switch 2. And Virtuos came out this week and said that it believes the Nintendo Switch 2 is on par with the Xbox Series S, and its CPU is powerful enough to match the PS4. How does that make you feel, Matt?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I'd agree with that as well. I mean, that seems to be what it is. And the other thing I would say, too...
Nintendo has been consistently about a generation behind since the Wii.
A lot of people got upset when they heard this. They're like, the Switch 2 should be more powerful than the Series S. And I was like, what are you talking about? This is good. Because you forget that right now, Microsoft is forcing every third-party developer to make sure their games can run on Xbox Series S. And the developers hate it, and the publishers hate it, but it's about to pay off. Because now... all those Xbox Series S versions can easily be ported over to Switch 2. This is a huge boon, honestly, if this is true, for Switch 2 and for Nintendo. It now means that, like, first of all, if you're a publisher or a developer, you're like, wait a minute, we can make this gimped version of our game and it will now sell?
Well, remember, usually that these are just the same game with the settings turned down, because things are scalable now. The only time,
it hasn't worked out that way.
I mean, it's annoying because you end up with a visibly lesser version of the game. The only the Baldur's Gate 3 thing is the only thing I've really heard of that was a serious obstacle.
I think Black Myth Wukong was the other one that they.
Yeah, they didn't.
It still hasn't come out for Xbox.
Yeah, what good does that do anybody to put that on the S? It is an obstacle to some degree in that regard, be sure. But I mean, it's way more worth putting on the Switch 2 than putting it on the Xbox Series S.
Yeah.
I imagine.
So now you can kill at least 1.5 birds with one stone.
Honestly, it's actually probably better news for the S.
Yeah, because you're right. Now people won't push back on Microsoft. Yeah, because
now you're targeting the Switch 2 anyway, so you're going to have something that'll work on the S.
I mean, it's good for everybody, honestly. It just means more big third-party games are going to be on more platforms. So I think it actually works out.
Somewhat. I mean, it's also going to hold you back from really making something that goes crazy.
Right. But... am I a little disappointed that the Switch 2 isn't more powerful than that? Yes, I am. No doubt about it.
Because now this is what's going to hold everything back for however
absolutely. Long. For now, another 7 or 8 years, Matt. So it's good in some ways, bad in other ways. But if you're a Switch 2 owner, I think it's overall pretty good because it means you're going to get a lot of third-party games you probably didn't count on getting. So it's powerful enough,
and it's not like we should have expected anything else because this is Nintendo's strategy and it's worked for, almost 20 years now. Yeah. So you can't argue with it.
Yep. You can't. Nope. And it's good for Microsoft, and I think it's generally good for consumers as well, even though you're right. It's probably going to hold back game development at least a little bit here while the Switch 2 is still viable. Next up in the lightning round. After the success of Expedition 33 this year, one of the front runners for Game of the Year, I would argue right now, I think for a lot of people. A lot of people are questioning what's going to happen with the next Final Fantasy because that game proves that turn-based combat isn't dead. And in fact, if you're creative, it can be just as fun and engaging as real-time combat in an action RPG. So people are starting to ask Square Enix, well, what are you guys going to do now that these other guys from France have figured out how to...
eat your fucking lunch.
Pretty much.
Really?
And they will not commit yet to what the next Final Fantasy will be, which I think is a win.
Yeah.
Which means that they're thinking about going back to turn-based combat. They haven't just written it off. And I would argue probably the poor sales of Final Fantasy 16 is helping push them in that direction.
Well, I think there's a number. I mean, again, I like 16 a lot.
Me too.
But, I think 16 was in part chasing the Game of Thrones trend, which was sort of over by the time that came out.
Yeah.
It isn't very recognizably Final Fantasy in a lot of ways, which I like about it, but obviously that didn't resonate with the core audience for it.
I think going back to turn-based is probably a good idea.
I think so too, Matt.
Not straight turn-based. Like, don't do Final Fantasy X again.
Come
up with some twists. Come up with just like Expedition 33 did.
Yeah.
But like, take that as a lesson and focus on the characters and the story, and don't worry about turning it into this crazy fucking
Assassin's Creed, basically.
Assassin's Creed Kingdom Hearts on steroids thing you've been trying to do for the last 15 years. Yeah. Because it just doesn't.
It's not working.
It doesn't resonate.
It's not resonating with your fans. It's just not.
No.
I mean, they've had to pimp this game out to every platform.
No one comes to Final Fantasy for that.
Yeah.
Like, we're not expecting the next Devil May Cry out of this thing.
Yeah.
Just fucking do a decent story.
And that's kind of what it was really like. For the first
time, I mean...
It was like an open world Devil May Cry, really.
16 was the first, I felt, decent story outside of the MMOs. In terms of the single-player ones. It's the first time I was interested in the story since 12.
Me too. Yeah. I loved it. I love Final Fantasy 16. It just sold really poorly. And now they've had to release it on everything. I think the wolf and or the sheep in wolf's clothing maybe is that it convinced Square Enix to start releasing its games for everything instead of just partnering up with PlayStation for every game now. So ultimately, the poor sales of Final Fantasy 16 were probably worth it.
Yeah, they did learn a lesson. It sounds like.
So it sucks that it had to learn it with a game that's really good, in all honesty.
It's kind of funny to see them do that happen with a series that they can't just like point at and say you suck, like they did with Tomb Raider and some of their other things that according to them underperformed, but according to anyone else, is like,
10 million wasn't enough for you?
The Tomb Raider reboot didn't sell twice what any other Tomb Raider game ever did? Yeah, it's really shocking.
Hard knock life you got there, Square Enix.
And Square's like, well, now we're making it. So I'm like, Square, it took Square so much longer than the rest of the world to realize that they weren't the top dog anymore.
This isn't 1999 anymore when you were Square.
I always go back to that E3 presentation where they had it was flashing forward. It was like 2002 or 2000. It was around the time 11 came out, and it was flashing forward to like 2012 or something. It was like the far future.
Yeah,
and it was like Square owned all the online gaming cafes in the world.
That's right.
Play Online was the only thing anyone used for online gaming.
Yeah, they were so delusional.
Everyone communicated with Play Online pagers, and they called people in to like come help them, and like. If you got an emergency Play Online thing, all you had to do was turn left, and you were right there. There was a Play Online cafe right there, and you just went in and helped them beat the boss and went about your day.
Yeah.
And that never got out of that booth. I've never seen it like leak anywhere, and I wish it would because I remember sitting there and being like, oh my god, these people,
they've lost their minds.
Like, don't think their shit stinks. Doesn't even fucking cover it. It was the most like egocentric like corporate thing I've ever seen. It was not. It was delusional. Like, I would have been embarrassed to see that in a private NDA'd boardroom meeting about like the pitching the future of the company, and they ran that in an E3 booth, and I'm like, oh my god, like what? Yeah. What planet do you think you live on? It just wasn't going to happen.
Well, finally in 2025, the year of our Lord, Square Enix has woken up, and it is putting out its games for every platform now. And it took the bombing of Final Fantasy 16 for it to happen, so worthy sacrifice.
You'd think the bombing of Spirits Within would have taught them something, but it really didn't.
It really didn't. Nothing at all. Okay, next up in the lightning round. You hinted at this a little bit earlier, Matt. And Nintendo has signed a deal with Universal to make a Donkey Kong movie.
I mean, once they put Donkey Kong in Kong Country in the Mario movie, you knew that was next steps. So
yep, they haven't announced when it's coming out or anything like that. Nintendo also shared today, and again on their private news app, that this game. They talked about how it switched over to Switch 2 in 2021, but they also talked about how they changed Donkey Kong because of the Super Mario Brothers movie, and that's why he looks the way he does in the Super Mario Brothers movie, because he was that way in the game that had been in development already for years.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, people were speculating why that change happened, and it had to be parody
to match the game that they had already been working on.
Which also means that expect the next Mario game to look a lot more like those movies.
Yep, I agree. Yep. Which
and maybe Mario's going to actually have dialogue.
Maybe
this time.
Yeah, which I would totally be cool with as well. We'll see. I'm a little nervous about that, but let's go with Zelda first and then go to Mario.
Like, I don't know if I need, like... I don't know if I actually... I mean, I didn't want it... I Charles Martinet should not have voiced him in the movie. It's fine that I was not going to listen to "Waha" for like 90 fucking minutes of that thing. But like I don't know if I need more than that in the game.
Right. Like, I agree.
Having him be sort of personalityless in the games is sort of fine by me.
But this explains the whole, why is there a Donkey Kong platformer and there's not a Mario It's all, sadly, a part of Nintendo's master plan.
To spend 8 years making this.
And to make people like Donkey Kong for some reason. I don't get it.
I'm not a Donkey Kong person.
I don't know anybody who is. Like, he's just not a character that people gravitate towards. He's going to get his own... That movie's probably going to bomb, would be my guess right now.
I don't know. Kids like gorillas.
Do they?
Yeah.
They like Donkey Kong?
I don't know. Like, as long as it doesn't need to be... you don't need to pre-love the character for the movie to hit necessarily.
This game's setting it all up, too. I mean, all the characters in this, know are going to be in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
The bad guys, all of it. Yep. So, probably be a little bit of a precursor. The game will be, ultimately.
I'm sure there'll be some of that in the Mario 2 as well. Mm-hmm. Like, they'll probably lead right into it.
Yep. Donkey Kong will have a big role, and at the end, something will happen, and it'll lead you right into the Donkey Kong movie. Yep.
Pauline will show up, and they'll be like, "What the? Why is it?" This is
Don't
so
ask.
Weird. Don't even ask.
Yep. All right. Next up in the lightning round, we're almost at the end. We got a little bit of bad news yesterday on the Marvel video games front. It feels like that's all we've been getting is bad news on the Marvel video game front lately.
Yeah, a lot of it. I mean, obviously the fighter's still doing well. The Cosmic Chaos, the beat 'em up is still rolling.
Yeah.
On track, but like the big AAA productions are
getting dicey.
We don't know anything about the World War II one.
Yeah.
Like they haven't mentioned anything.
1943. I haven't seen anything. That was delayed in 2026
next year,
lately.
which I think everybody
guessed anyway.
As soon as they say December, you're like, okay, I'll see you in Q1.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, the news this week is that Marvel's Blade has just gone into full production. Mm-hmm. And we're not going to see it for a long, long time.
Oh no, Cross, everybody sue them.
Some people are so freaked out by it that they're wondering if maybe... So what happened is, in a financial report, it was revealed that a game at Arcane Lyon, just went into full production. Mm-hmm. And obviously everybody knows that studio is working on Marvel's Blade. But people are like, wait a minute, like... When they announced Blade, like, over a year ago, they said it had already been in development for several years. So people are like, it can't be. That was in full production, like, 2 years ago, so maybe it's Dishonored 3. And that's what people are kind of using as their copium, is like, no, it's not Blade, it's Dishonored 3.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't either.
I mean...
Because I don't think a Dishonored 3 will ever be made.
Full production means that they could have been working in pre-production for 2 years.
That's
at
true.
This point. Like, which again with Marvel is often pretty common because Marvel is a bitch to work with on this stuff. Again, it's just another example of Blade being kind of a cursed franchise. I mean, I don't know how the hell you don't get a Mahershala Ali Blade movie off the ground in a timely. It's a Blade movie. They've done 3 of them. Right. Blade is not a conundrum to solve. It's not an unknown quantity. It's a guy who kills vampires with a sword and looks awesome when he does it. Yeah. Just do that. Just do John Wick with vampires. Go. That's all you need to do. What are you doing? Yeah. And like you have an Oscar winner. You have a Best Actor Oscar winner who has signed up to play your fucking vampire guy. Yeah. Get the fucking movie. And someone might have been he wasn't happy with. I mean, I could see. I mean, I'm sure he has veto power of that. If it was not up to his standards. It's not up to his standards. But he was in that Jurassic Park movie, so it can't be that high standards, right? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't understand why Blade has such trouble getting off the ground. And every time something like this happens, it just makes Wesley Snipes' line in Deadpool about only I'm only going to be one Blade, only ever going to be one Blade, like even funnier. So it just.
Is Wolverine going to be canceled?
No, I don't think so.
Don't think so?
No.
It is Insomniac, which gives me hope, but...
It was definitely announced too early, but I do not see that being canceled. There's no world where Wolverine
doesn't sell. And
there's no way.
Yeah, there's no built-in interest.
I think they're just being quiet about it because the Marvel stuff is in such chaos right now. And probably they're waiting around to sort of see... I mean, I don't know when that would come, and at this point it might show up before Infinity.
I mean, the Wolverine movie did great.
Yeah,
it's like the best.
But you might
as far as financials,
but you might be like
the best Marvel's done in a while.
In the original plan, it was probably because Wolverine was supposed to come out I think next year, and Venom was this year, and Wolverine was next year, late next year, and then
Spider-Man 3, and then X-Men was 2030.
Right.
And that's about when the X-Men movie's probably going to come out in the MCU. Like, that's probably when you get a rebooted X-Men. And I would imagine that and it's clearly intended to be a sequel to Wolverine. Like, Wolverine is going to start the Insomniac X-Men series.
Yeah.
And I would imagine they originally wanted more synergy with the movies than they're going to get, because the movies have turned into such a train wreck and everything got delayed a year and or 8 months. It's going to, I mean, I think it's going to be pushed more. Because I don't think buying 8 months off of Doomsday is going to solve anything.
Yeah.
And putting that out in December seems weird to me.
Yeah.
It feels like you push that back to the next May, and then Secret Wars is 2028, and we probably get Beyond the Spider-Verse before then. So it's all a mess.
It really is. Yeah.
So I don't know. Like they are probably at Marvel's mercy to some degree, because you always are when you make those tie-in games. But we'll see what happens, especially when it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what the relationship is. I don't know what, Sony has a history with Spider-Man. Like, obviously, Sony, has a little bit of ownership of Spider-Man, just in a kind of an ethical sense, because they've worked with Spider-Man for so long.
Yeah.
And Marvel and them kind of probably have some sort of rapport, even if they don't like each other very much. But with Wolverine, like, who knows? Like, Wolverine is their gold. Wolverine is, even more than Spider-Man now. Like, Wolverine is the gold standard. And I think Wolverine's not going to really be part of the X-Men stuff moving into the MCU. I think they're going to go for more. I think Wolverine, because Hugh Jackman.
That'd be really dumb.
It wouldn't be. It's the right move, because Hugh Jackman is too iconic as Wolverine, and I think
he doesn't want to do it anymore.
He's done.
He's
54.
So that was his last film.
No, he'll be back. He'll be back in Secret Wars. I assure you. I assure you.
That'll be the last thing he does.
Yeah, I think Secret Wars. Doomsday has a bunch of Fox X-Men actors in it as the X-Men. And then they've said they're not doing new X-Men yet in those 2 movies. I think Secret War, which in the comics mashed every reality together into one big thing, you're going to see X-Men from the Fox movies in that, sort of like Deadpool, probably because I may not have been the original plan, because I think the fact that Deadpool made $1 billion is going to... Yeah. I was like, oh, people want to see that. So I there's no evidence of this casting yet, but I will tell you right now, I predict, and remember I said this... One of the key things in Secret Wars, one of the big moments where the all is lost, we have to save the day moments. The day will be saved by Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and Hugh Jackman Wolverine teaming up to take down somebody. Yeah. Those 3 in one scene together, fighting some big bad or big thing, or sacrificing themselves for like the big final play. Yeah. That will be the big Infinity War moment. That'll be the end game moment for that, is those 3, the big 3 of Marvel movies before 2010 all get together and do the thing they need to do, and that buys the time for the surviving people to get together and reset the universe.
All right.
That is my prediction, and then they will move on into the new X-Men, who all better fucking be like 25 and younger, because they're supposed to be students, not middle-aged teachers. Right. I'm just saying, do X-Men right this time, please.
All right, last topic in the lightning round. So, I don't know if you built a PC lately or tried to, but buying a GPU at the price that it actually says it's supposed to cost
it's difficult again, isn't it? Yeah. Well, there was a little bit there where it was like, oh, everything's fine. Oh, no, we're back to this again.
Well, no, things are good now. As of this week, NVIDIA's 50 series GPU have begun selling below MSRP.
I thought they were inflating again because of the AI shit.
No. So, and NVIDIA just hit $4 trillion in value. The first company to ever do that on the stock market. $4 trillion.
And no one can really tell me why.
Because it's crypto, AI.
But like, there's no end game for that. Okay, and how?
They just, you're right. I mean, in 10 years' time, when the first round of AI dies, like, NVIDIA could go in the toilet. But as of right now, like...
I mean, I considered buying NVIDIA stock back in, like, 2010, and I wish I had.
Well, they also kissed the ring, and now they've been allowed to start selling GPUs to China again without a tariff on them. Anyway... Stuff that's going on right now is so crooked and wrong. But anyway, NVIDIA, if you have been in the market for a new GPU, or you've been trying to build a new PC, and you're like, it's just too damn expensive, you can finally get your graphics card, not even at MSRP, below MSRP. And I feel like that deserves a round of applause. because it was a long time coming for that to happen. And you're right. Next month, it could jump right back up above MSRP. But for right now, let's enjoy the moment, Matt. Where we finally can pay what you're supposed to pay for these things.
Yeah, well, I'll wait and see if it still is when they make a card that's a decent jump over what I have.
I mean, you're not gonna need a new card for another like 7 or 8 years. I mean, yours is good to go, man. I got the 4070 and it's fine for now, but in 2 years it's probably gonna start showing its age.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, again, it's gonna need. My upgrades on graphics cards have generally been when some new technique came out that could not be used on the, and now they're getting that smoothing thing on the 40 series now.
Yep.
The things that don't support DLSS, they can still smooth them out.
Right.
Like basically, and it works. It works.
I mean,
but
it
it's
all
not
works.
Amazing. Yeah, it's kind of a game to game thing.
It works, but. Yeah, I look at it that way too. But again, it's been
whatever
a
the
long
next
time
ray
coming.
tracing thing is.
Yeah,
that's what's going to force
you to
the
get
real
another
upgrade.
Card.
Yeah,
I think most people are probably that way.
So I'll see you in the 60 series, basically.
Yeah,
probably
what's
happening there.
Yep. All right, that does it for the lightning round news roundup, which means there's just one last thing to do. That's right. It's time for Name That Game Tune, brought to you by Soundwizardry.com, the absolute wizards in audio. They have built the audio for multiple Game of the Year winners, multiple Game of the Year contenders. They are awesome to work with. They are great people. Glenn and crew at Soundwizardry.com, I guarantee you if you hire them, you'll be more than happy with the work, and even happier than that with actually working with them. They are great people. That foundation for me as a professional is the most important thing of all. Being able to work with somebody, knowing that they have integrity, knowing that they're honest, knowing that they do good work, that's what you get at Soundwizardry.com. Of course, if you're working on a game and your sound team is dropping the ball, call them right now. Go to Soundwizardry.com right now. But even if you're just working on a film or a short, or maybe you're working on your own video game, they work with all kinds of audio, TV, film, games. It doesn't matter. Go to soundwizardry.com. And because of them and because they're awesome, they sponsor us to do this really cool game that we do called Name That Game Tune, where I play 5 samples from a video game, and you try to guess the name of the game before Matt Keil right here. Last week was a complete disaster. We didn't have the audio files loaded onto the TriCaster. We are good to go today. A couple things before we get going, though. If you don't play PC games, please don't play. If you win, you get a free PC game, and we want to give it to people who actually use the PC code that we give them. Number 2, the chat goes into slow mode, which means don't spam the chat with a bunch of random game titles because you're not going to win. You only get 1 entry every 60 seconds, so don't burn it just randomly trying to guess. And then the final thing is, what actually is the final thing? I did them in different order. You can only win once per calendar year. So if you've already won this year, don't play. You can't win again. You'll have to wait until 2026 to play and win again. So let me get Matt's headphones turned up here so he can hear. And I am not giving any hints about this. I am just going to play the samples. Also, an apology. Unfortunately, people on YouTube, you cannot play because of the timing and the delays and all that kind of stuff. So if you do want to play Name That Game Tune, and you're usually a YouTube viewer, you should probably jump over to Twitch right now, or maybe just start watching the show on Twitch. I'm sorry, there's just no way to do it with multiple chats, unfortunately. Okay, Matt, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys ready to play Name That Game Tune? Here is the first sound. In 3, 2, 1.
Ooh.
Want me to turn it down?
No, I know it, but I can't place it. Galaga?
Not Galaga. Hybrid Heaven 2. Nope. We have a winner.
Defender.
This is for Vidya Games Gets It. It is Defender.
I didn't go for it.
Why didn't you guess it afterwards?
I don't know. I was thinking one or the other, and I couldn't place it. I saw a YouTube video this week that called it Galaga.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Instead of Galaga?
That's not how you pronounce that. It's an AI.
Here, I'll play the remaining samples. Since we only got to 1, I kind of figure with these retro games that it's going to be really hard to fool people because they only have like 10 sound effects in the whole game. Here's the second one.
Yeah, I know that one.
Here's the third one. Here's the fourth. Brings back memories, doesn't
yeah.
it? And then here's the fill. I want to use more retro games in this, but it's hard. It's so easy for you guys to guess it because, again, you hear these. If you play these old games, you hear these sounds over and over. They're just burned into your brain. So it's like it's hard. But congratulations, this is for video games. Send me a DM here on Twitch. You can send me a DM on SIFTD. I'm at Shane. On Twitter at Dinfire, on Blue Sky at Shane Satterfield. Just get at me, and we'll get you your game. And just again, a note: we don't send out games every week. We go the whole month, and then at the end of the month, I send out the 4 games to the 4 winners. So if you've won, don't freak out. You're gonna get your free game. We just wait until the end of the month. In the meantime, I get your ID for Steam, so we become friends on Steam. And when we come to the end of the month, I can buy the games and just give them to you and gift them to you. So if you've won the last couple weeks, relax. You're going to get your free game, I promise you. We just wait until the month is over to do it. Let's see here. Well, I thought we might have some time, but we don't for Q&A. Actually, we'll take one question just to say that we did Q&A. If you guys have any questions for us, we'll answer at least one here for you guys for our Q&A before we leave. If you guys have any... Andy T. Monahan says, everyone at one time has imitated those sounds out loud. Yeah. Retro Modern Gamer says, do random DOS games. No one will get that stuff. I mean, I can definitely pick games that, like, you guys won't get. I could pick a random Rugrats GBA game or whatever. Like, that's not fun, though. It's not fun sitting here playing crap that nobody gets. Like, for me, the ideal game is for you guys to get it on the 4th or 5th audio sample. That's what I try to do anyway. Obviously, I failed this week, but... With retro games, I think it's kind of harder to do it for sure. Any questions from you guys? Just go at SIFTD Games. If not, we're going to close out the show here. And we'll probably be the first time we've done our show on time in weeks and weeks. Okay, looks like nobody's got anything. All right, well, that's going to do it for GameFace episode 442 right here on SIFTD Games at sifted.net. Just a reminder that we are... generally supported, not 100%, but mostly, at patreon.com/sifted. For just $5 a month, you get all our content early, at least 3 days early, Pactor Factor a week early. Also, you can subscribe on our YouTube channel. The deal there isn't quite as good as our Patreon, but it's still pretty good, so you can sign up there. We appreciate that very much. And thanks to our YouTube crew who dropped us a donation today. That's awesome. We'll keep streaming to YouTube as well as Twitch, as we have been for the last few weeks now. Also, if you don't have any money, but you have Amazon Prime, you can still help us with Twitch Prime. If you're watching on YouTube right now, just go down below. There's step-by-step instructions down there to teach you how to connect your accounts. That takes a couple minutes when you connect them the first time. After that, you just have to renew, and that's literally 3 clicks. Just go to twitch.tv/SiftedGames, click the drop down there, select free Twitch Prime sub at the bottom of the drop down, and you're done. It literally takes 2 or 3 seconds. So if you've already connected your accounts, please go and do that right now. We'd appreciate it. And if you don't have Twitch Prime, you can still help us. Just like the show, comment on the show. And I got to say, on YouTube, the show's comments have started to flag again. I hate that I have to keep bringing this up. But if you can't help us financially, just like the show, leave a comment. Great podcast, bad podcast, who cares? All that matters is that the comment is there. We'd really appreciate it. And that's it. There's so many ways that you can help us. You can also just review the show on the podcast service that you're listening to it on. All that stuff matters. It all helps. It all makes a difference. Share it on social media so all your followers are like, hey, what's this podcast? This is my favorite gaming podcast. All that stuff can help us, and we appreciate pretty much all of it. Let's see, next week, Matt, it's all about Donkey Kong Bonanza. I know you can't wait to jump on that one. Are you going to play it? You don't have to. If you don't want to, you don't have to.
We'll see how I feel.
Okay. But yeah, we'll be definitely talking about probably the biggest exclusive for Switch 2 yet, which is Donkey Kong Bonanza, which comes out in like a couple days. Again, surprised there's no reviews for that out there yet.
Vincent earlier.
Does that make you nervous at all?
I already think it's going to suck, so no, not really. I don't have it in my fantasy team, so I don't care.
Right. Nobody does.
Vincent said earlier that the review embargo's tomorrow, I think, but that a lot of people don't have it yet.
So how are you supposed to review it?
I don't know.
It also sounds like this game is like gigantic.
Yeah.
So if no one has it yet, and I don't have it yet, Nintendo hasn't sent it to me yet, like it's going to be a while till people finish the game and get their reviews out there, unless people go home and binge, which...
They do.
They will.
Yeah.
And I had to back when I worked at GameSpot.
You get this 24-hour binge turnovers.
It's brutal. It's the crappy part of the job, but it has to be done if you're working at these major outlets. It makes a big difference if you get your reviews for the games like that out late. So, all right, that's going to do it for GameFace. Thanks for tuning in. As always, people on YouTube and on Twitch, you make the show better. You always do. We appreciate your input. We appreciate you guys being a part of the show, and that's one thing that we do here on GameFace that no other major gaming podcast ever does, is incorporate its users and its viewers and its listeners like ours does. And it makes our show better. I'm surprised other people don't do it, but I'm glad they don't because it makes our show stand apart. All right, you guys have yourselves a great week filled with great games. GameFace is up and out.